Are
So I got that app finally.
good.
So when you
Then we
go-
can, perfect. It's not that category.
Yeah.
Did you take it off and put it back on?
No, I have an older phone, but I had to take off some of my now.
You hit the-
I can't max them. I took off some that I don't use, so.
Cool, cool,
Add
okay.
devices to
Yep.
it, so.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'll probably just send you a reader.
It used to be on here, I don't see it.
It should actually just put them in.
Okay.
Yep.
Hey, good, or you choose one of these. Would that be better? Yeah. Yeah, actually, that'll work. You're controlling that one, thank you.
Thing. Good to go.
I'm in price. Here.
Both of those are a little fast. All right. Nick of time.
There's some right here.
All right, everyone. I'll call this regular meeting of Hermosa Board of Trustees to order on July 7th at 6 p.m. Beginning with roll call. Trustee Ferguson,
Here.
Trustee Kramer,
Here.
Trustee Matheny,
Yes.
Trustee Miller,
Here.
Trustee Service here. All right. Thank you to everyone else for coming and happy to see you here. And Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right. On to our new comments from the public. Anybody have anything they want to give us a heads up on, maybe talk about before we get into the agenda? Speak now? No? Good. All righty. Peaceful evening then? Very good. Call for changes, review of current agenda. I will entertain motions to approve or amend.
I didn't see the mowing on there. We were gonna discuss that.
It is,
Street department.
Street Department lawn care first mowing review and assignment of additional areas.
Oh.
Didn't really seem like an actionable item, more just do a review of what was mowed and make sure that next time he comes through, he knows.
Wasn't looking there.
Um,
And then survey of the water tower.
survey of the water tower.
We need to discuss, right? Because we can only add discussion items now because it's July, right? So I'd like to discuss having a survey of the water tower.
Of the existing water tower?
Yes.
Okay.
The main water tower,
The main water tank, or the leaky tank.
Yeah.
correct.
Do you think that's substantial to be under the item for the
Wherever we have discussions.
new business A, approve hire of Midco? I guess it is a little bit different. Since it's discussion only, we can discuss it under that when we're talking about the Midco. Or do you want separate item?
I think it,
You could put it in B. Add it to B,
under B,
same location.
same in the water department? Okay. New business, okay.
So
Business.
approve required inspections for serviceability of underground tank. So we'll just add to that one with discussion of survey of Tower Hill.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'd like to add the, under C, discussion of the status of the Preston negotiations.
Under
Legal.
Under legal.
legal, C, status of Preston negotiations.
Yeah. No action, but just update.
Yeah, I think this is something we're gonna get used to being careful about. This new law. It's a good law.
It's great.
All right. Any other discussions to be added? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve with those changes if someone feels so compelled.
I make a motion that we approve the agenda with the changes stated.
Motion made. Do we have a second?
Yes.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Amended. Good. Consent calendar approval of June 23rd, 2026 meeting minutes. I'll entertain a motion.
I do have one correction to that, to the June 23rd, if you look under abatement complaints. So the very last sentence, the board also reviewed a complaint, and I had the same address, that should be 360 Violet Street, not 129 Bridge. Would be those two complaints.
Oh, okay, they were
So,
typo.
yeah.
Copy pasta. Very good.
Also on the 23rd, we didn't, right before old business, we needed to say that we closed out as the P and Z adjourned and the board
Reconvene.
reconvened. So we need those two statements in there.
We'll have to remember to do that tonight for planning and zoning also. For at least A and B. C doesn't matter. C, I guess, is more for planning and zoning. Okay. Anybody want to make a motion to support those?
I
changes?
got one more. Under the sewer department report, there needs to be something that said that we talked about MAP can come to a board meeting for training. So under sewer department, just the last line that says MAP can be invited to a board meeting for training.
Very good. Minutes. All right. Everybody good? Motions? Anybody got a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept as amended.
The June 23rd minutes. All right, motion made. Do I have a second? Made and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Steve?
Okay. 4 ayes, 1 abstention. All right, moving on. I will entertain motions for the June 29th special meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion made. Do we have a second? Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
I'll abstain again.
Okay, 4 ayes, 1 abstention. All right. Moving on now to conflict of interest declaration, roll call voting for any agenda item where conflict of interest is formally identified. I don't. Yeah, all right, legal to Mr. James.
Used to be in this early still yet, but okay. So I mean, I don't know, under A, I guess that would be anything else I have relevant that's not specifically identified by a topic, which I don't really have anything else. It's just sort of random to throw in here. So I'll just sort of move on to B, I guess. So B is status of BRIC grant related investigations. So I did pen a letter, which was sent by certified mail to Mr. Theodoro and to ATAC. That letter was sent by email and certified mail on June 25th. Requested a response, I believe, within 14 days. Could have been 15 days. I received responses from Mr. Theodoro, which sort of blew it off, sort of told me that he wasn't going to comply with my quote arbitrary time frame. And then he said that I asked him what time frame would he comply with. He said, well, we'll pretend like it's discovery in a lawsuit and we'll do 30 days. So that's what he told me. I kind of thought it was a little disrespectful, but that's what it said. And so I sent him a copy of the motion that was passed at the special meeting where the town suspended the payments to ATAC under the BRIC grant. I got no response on that. So that's been my communication with ATAC on that so far. I did obtain copies of the 2 police reports. I'm not sure. I thought I shared those maybe with Terry and with the board. I think that I did some Terry, if you want, for the board.
They're permissible for public.
I mean, I have no reason not to disseminate them. So, yeah, I don't know if I was told by the state's attorney that they had not concluded their investigation, but she didn't care that they were public, so fine with me. I will say, I think the last time we had a meeting and I talked about this, I think Linda asked me, did Anthony just refuse, outright, or did he say, hey, I want to talk to my attorney, I want this to go through my attorney or something? So the police reports do reveal that was his response, that he said, I'm not answering your questions without an attorney present. Then again, when I communicated with him, he also brought up that he had a quote, legal team that I needed to communicate with. I said, can you please identify the legal team? Because I have an ethical duty to communicate with them instead of you if you're working through counsel now. He did not respond to 2 requests for that identification of his legal team, which I think is likely fictional. But in any event, that's what, so, I mean, I don't know. Again, I sort of doubt we'll get anything really responsive when 30 days are up, as he suggested, but that's, again, I'm open to questions. That's what I've done so far.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Last week we had a special meeting that you weren't able to attend.
Yes.
The implication was that you were recommending that we suspend the work on the grant. Is that correct?
I would recommend that. I think there are enough questions around the project that, especially the fact that the state has suspended our repayment schedule. That's the most, I think, concerning thing. Obviously, if the town's not guaranteed we're going to be repaid, then it's a big risk to the town to be paying a lot of money into the grant that we may just be losing.
When did the
So-
state do that?
That information was provided to me by the board president, so I don't know the date of that.
Again, the board president needs to tell the whole board what's going on. Point of contact doesn't mean withholding information. It means sharing it with the board.
As far as
So
us
when-
not being reimbursed,
It-
I heard that from Terry in a meeting. All of us were here.
Well, not being reimbursed, but you're saying that the state has suspended. That's the same thing. You're just using a different terminology.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. All right.
So,
That's good.
yeah, I assume that was something the board already knew, so yeah, I didn't think I was bringing any new information on that.
Well, I knew the one payment was on hold. I didn't equate that with being suspended across the board,
Okay.
which is the way you're presenting it now. So,
Okay.
yeah. That's,
Um,
that's okay. I mean,
Just want to know.
is it, I mean, you think it's not a concern that the state's withholding payments?
well, it makes sense that they were holding one payment, but now you're saying they're holding all payments. And that particular issue was how we voted, and I understood that would be resolved very shortly. So the suspension, or as you're saying it is, I just thought it was holding one payment. didn't sound like it was gonna last very long to me.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
That didn't come through Mr. James, so that they communicated with our finance officer that we were not going to receive reimbursement until they had basically were finished looking over things.
And they wanted that information by today or yesterday?
Which information?
How we voted and why we
That's
voted,
right.
because that's why they were holding it, right? So that's why I'm thinking, oh, it'll be resolved shortly. But no,
So I do have another, reimbursement to submit, but I haven't submitted it yet because I don't have the summary report to go with it.
yeah, which
So
is
we still
supposed to,
have, we actually have two payments out there that.
Yeah.
Are not. I mean, and as far as I knew, they were, until their investigation done, they weren't gonna make any payments.
I heard you say that at the last meeting,
That's what,
that you had the other one that you hadn't submitted
Mhm.
yet. Mhm. I'm sorry, Linda has her hand.
Yeah, so 2 questions. One is, when is the end of your 30 days?
So, yeah, again, I sent the letter on June the 25th. So,
So July 24th
Yeah.
or whatever. Okay.
again, that was not my time frame. That was the time frame he suggested.
Whatever. Okay, and then, you said that the, sheriff's office was still looking into it.
The answer I got from the state's attorney was they had not concluded their investigation.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they didn't tell me we were gonna file a charge or we're gonna do the X, Y, or Z. They said they hadn't finished.
And did you ask them how much longer they thought it would take? Or did they offer that information?
They didn't know. It seemed to me like they were in the final, wrapping it up, but I don't,
And when did you speak with them?
I believe that was before I sent the letter. Because I wanted to have all the information before I sent it, so I think that would have been late June, probably, so.
Mm.
So where we're at now, reasonably, so we could say we have this 30 days. Essentially, what we are status really. This is status of brick-related investigations, and we now, per the previous motion on payments and work, we can say that the payments and work are suspended pending the completion of these investigations, and now we can say with reasonable certainty those investigations are at least 30 days out from June 25th. So we can say for certain this is at least a few more weeks, right, until that response is received, and I guess in the absence of a receipt of that response, I don't know, but we can say at least we have until that deadline. So that's good. I talked to OEM again yesterday. The questions, because last time I talked to them, they mentioned an extension on the deadline, and I was asked, if maybe we could get more details on that. So this brick is actually what we have is a part of a much larger grant program. Got a little bit into the weeds, stuff I'm not super familiar with at all. But had to do with administration changes at the national level. An effort to basically stop some FEMA brick grants, and this was one of them. But I guess the court said no, you can't do that, and there was a delay in that time frame. So apparently that delay is being kind of interpreted as a little bit of wiggle room on these deadlines. Also, there's still other monies that have to be given out within South Dakota under the larger umbrella grant. And because of that, because they still have funds to expend, and they haven't even really gotten started with those, they believe that when that time comes and they're looking at expending those funds for those and awarding those other grants, that they would be able to basically piggyback for an extension with us, because it's all a part of the same pool. So that's that. It does sound like there's really strong reason to believe that we can get an extension if necessary. So the deadline on the actual grant itself doesn't seem to be a major point of concern for them. Other than that, I don't know if anybody else has anything else on the status of this. Mr. Theodore?
So, yeah, I received a certified letter in my post office box yesterday. Mr. James had sent me an email, courtesy email with the letter, so I was able to read it while I was out of town and kind of get an idea of the questions that are being asked. So, obviously with me returning from being gone for 2 weeks and then the Fourth of July holiday, which I had put in the email I wrote to Mr. James. I respectfully asked that it be treated similar to Discovery and to give my accounting 30 days to put together what is basically an audit. And so when they reference 2 CFR 300.430, that's the federal guidelines for bookkeeping. And so, you know, I wanted to make sure that my accountant reviews everything. And I think that, everything that we provide will be able to help the town defending itself on the bookkeeping requirements that they'll have to do for being recipient of the federal grant. So we want to make sure that all that is ready for you guys, so you guys can just turn around and have that as your backup bookkeeping information from us. Some of the things described in the letter, like native timesheets and everything, are signed. That's a part of it. Okay. There's a couple other topics that were kind of mixed into the letter. I plan on providing a statement from ATAC addressing those questions and concerns that are not bookkeeping related. So, but because it's primarily an accounting issue, not a legal issue, and I'm not in any, at the moment, any legal battle with the town, I didn't want to necessarily incur legal fees for myself or the town if unnecessarily, right? I think it was more of a job for my accountant and for me to clearly state in a statement to the board those other questions or concerns that were raised. And so I'll get those. I'm pretty confident that I'll get them within 30 days. That I said, you know, honestly, that's, my target, me to get them so that we can discuss them in the next regular meeting. You need to have them in front of you in time. That's my hope. So thank you for your patience and letting me do that, putting that together. I wasn't prepared for an audit 4 months into the grant, so I'll get that to you guys. And I don't quite understand the sheriff's involvement in audits, but I guess that I guess I'll find out more when, because I haven't been charged with anything. Usually they'll tell you you're charged with something. So she just started reading down a list of questions that was in Mr. James's letter. And she only really got to the first question when I said, I don't really make a habit of talking about invoicing with a client when the client hasn't asked me yet about the invoicing, but for some reason the sheriff of the county is asking me questions about my invoicing. So I said, I think that might be something where I should have my attorney around. Because obviously when you're dealing with law enforcement, you know, you want to be careful with what you're saying. I mean, you don't want to give up your rights. So that's all. It wasn't
I have a
anything.
couple of questions I'd like to ask.
Mr. James, yeah.
Is there a legal team or legal attorney I should be conferring with?
No, I'm not in any legal battles.
So that was just made up.
No, I have a legal team, but that issue revolves around people that I
Why
may
didn't you
be.
tell me, why didn't you tell me to contact your legal team?
I actually didn't. I said, I need to contact my legal. You could reference that.
Okay. The other question would be, some of these items that were
I don't know.
in the letter are just the work product from the grant. And so the question is just, where is the work product from the grant? Because some of these things you've marked on timesheet says 100% complete, and the town hasn't received it.
So I'll refer you to the milestone schedule that's in both the RFP and in my proposal. And it states what deliverables or what tasks will be targeted for delivery at what time. And so only task 1 deliverables we're actually due in April, and they involve the prioritization of projects. And so that was actually, Jason Mateo tried to present that while I was out of town. And I think he got through in his presentation that much. He was actually getting into the task 2 deliverable, which is the technical memorandum, which I have a draft of. It was probably ready to submit on time, which would have been July 9th. And before the grant was paused. So what I'll have in the documents that I provide will be the task one deliverable. And I might even provide you with a draft task two deliverable, which was technically scheduled for July 9th before the pause. And then the rest of the items, there is some items that have been early submitted that are up on Silversmith, like our inspection reports and whatnot. But we can get things that were early on, to the town because there's no reason to not. It's just things revolve around the time of year, um, the availability of staff and other things. So we might be early on some things. We don't want to be late on anything, but we're allowed to be early on some things, if that's how it fits in the schedules. So, but yeah, if you refer to the milestone schedule, you see what's due.
That was all my questions.
Very good. Any more trustees with interest in this discussion? All right.
Just wanted to say one.
Mhm.
If he said he'd try to have it on the 21st, so I'd like to request that we have an agenda item that doesn't just include discussion, but possible voting to lift the suspension, if we have all the information by the 21st.
If we get, I mean, if that day comes and we have all that information and we have clearance from OEM, when the day comes, if there's a green light to go forward, we'll special meeting if we have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just overly concerned, even though you said, I really don't want the town to have to pay back the grant money, so that's why I'm a little impatient about it.
Oh, that's I guess I would say the impression I got from OEM is they're glad that we're paying as much attention as we are, and they don't have an issue with how we're handling the thing right now. So I don't expect us to be.
I don't
hammered
worry.
on.
I don't know. I'm not worried about how they feel about it. I'm just worried that we actually handle it in a efficient manner, so we can move on.
Mr. Fedor?
So I concur with the chairman on that, and I'd like an opportunity, once all the documents are submitted, to be able to sit down with the finance officer to make sure that kind of explain, at least, I don't know if it'd be me or my accountant will explain what items are what, so that way we can kind of get a categorization or folder set up so that as we go through the rest of it, and we do it in the same fashion, all that stuff is categorized and,
In the little bucket.
so that, because you have to go through your CPA's audits of as a federal grant recipient. So that way we'll have that opportunity as well. And then, like Aaron said, you guys can special meeting.
Alrighty, I don't want to too badly beat into that, basically because what I think we're on the same page on is that we still need a lot of information. So, all right, moving on, status of Preston negotiations.
Yeah, so I think this could have been something that would have been ordinarily something I suggested for an executive session, but I didn't do that because I know we kind of represented to the Prestons in public that we would not do that, and we would have everything out in the open. So unfortunately, I'm going to put this out in the open so that it's sort of everybody gets to hear it at the same time and we can kind of react to it as it sits. But I had communicated what was sort of an offer to their attorney, Rich Huffman, sort of an offer that was as follows, which is again what we kind of decided on in the board meeting, that we would give them the 140K back to them with the interest on the CD, right? That we would complete any of the remaining DANR requirements on the sewer line. And 3, that we would potentially waive a number of tap fees for sewer lines. That's kind of what I threw out there to them that I kind of thought the board supported at that point.
And you did not give a specific number?
On the tap fees?
Yes.
I don't think we had a number from the board, so I didn't say.
I know.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know it was discussed, it was sort of offered, but there was not a specific, number. So
Yep.
I just said, hey, the town might be willing to do that, can we do? So the response I got was that he would be in touch with me, but he assures me that the number on 140-ish plus earned interest isn't very attractive. quite frankly, I believe the evidence will prove that the town lied to my people and so did their former attorney. A former council person benefited, although he denied it, from what we did, and I will assemble all the pertinent facts when I return. So,
And his return is,
I don't know. I got that email in late June, so June 25th. So haven't gotten a response since. I didn't really want to go any further into that without moving forward again. So kind of, it wasn't a very welcoming response. So
That's a good summary, I think.
yeah, I think previously he had sent me an email a while back when there was sort of took me out of that topic and hired another attorney to take on the topic. Previously, he had mentioned to me in an email that there was some accusation about the prior board president switching documents around on the Prestons. I don't know. I think that's the accusation. I don't know whether that's, I just know that's the accusation. So, again, I don't know. I've tried to communicate with him and with them as best I could to say, I think the attitude that the board has is, hey, we understand the board in the past might have done some things that we wish hadn't gone that way, but we'd like to make this right and move on. You know, and that's kind of I think the board's current attitude about it. But again, at least from their attorney, it was not a welcoming, answer. So, that's,
I mean, I hate to say this stuff, but I feel like you overstepped by mentioning the two things that we had just discussed but hadn't voted on. We didn't vote on compensation for adding sewer lines or hookups. We talked about it, you're right, and you said we talked about it. And the interest we talked about too, but we had not voted as a board to do either of those
Well,
things yet.
I didn't draft a firm, like, these are the things we're doing.
I know, it's just a little nerve wracking.
I just said, these are the things we discussed.
We had talked with the Prestons while they were here about that. That was the whole discussion we had with.
Yeah, we threw it out, but we did not vote as a board that we would do.
So
We voted
why
as a-
are you talking all the time?
Do you want to talk? Do you have something?
No, I don't wanna talk, I want you to shut up so he can.
oh,
It's all right, it's all right.
It's all right, we're having a good
Well,
conversation.
but you don't have to raise your hand or nothing like everybody else does,
yeah.
All right, well,
like this.
let's bring it back in. So we had the Prestons here, everything Mr. James talked to. So it's really just, Mr. James was essentially making sure their attorney had the same perspective as their clients. We didn't make a motion to offer the Prestons while we were discussing. And we're not. I think what we're trying to do is avoid an intensively litigated situation and try to be as amicable and cordial as possible. And so it's more of what are your thoughts on this? Kind of thing. We're trying to guide the ship into the harbor, as it were. And after a really nasty storm, left it with some busted parts. We're trying to get it back into the harbor. I don't think Mr. James he was out of line for letting their attorney essentially know the same thing that we had told them during a meeting.
During a public meeting.
During a public meeting. He was really just relaying the same information. He didn't say and I correct me if I'm wrong, but I doubt he said, oh, this is what the town is offering. If you agree to this, we'll sign it. Everything's good.
No.
It was more of this is kind of where the board seems to be comfortable. And that's kind of what that discussion was. We were kind of sort of figuring out where we were comfortable. I don't think we need to approach this with too intensely strict a litigative attitude, unless Mr. James deems it necessary for us to start executive sessioning in order to really negotiate or really strategize. Yeah.
Just gonna add, this is why these discussions usually take place in executive, just so we can, but again, I just added respect for what we told the Prestons. That's why I've discussed it this way, so.
What can I say? So,
Oh, sorry, Miss Ferguson, yes, she did.
go ahead.
I'm gonna have to get better at this. I'm sorry. Paying attention to
Well, you might as well go ahead and let's talk, so. go ahead and talk.
Donna. Let's.
Well, even the audience says, how come she talks all the time? Because that's why our meetings roll. Nothing's being said.
That's the point of the board, is to discuss things. So, but what I was gonna say is that, I think you're both right in the fact that this is going from being executive session discussions where it's held in confidence to now just being in public. So that's part of the different transition, a different way of presenting it. So that's why I think I have such a hard time with it, is because it was like, oh, wait, did we vote on that? Well, if we had talked about it in an executive session and come out, we would have had a motion and the board would have all been on the same page and we present it to the public. Now
Yeah.
it's just out there, it's kind of like, oh, well, now what are we gonna?
Well, all right. So one thing I would say, and I guess I'm going to say the quiet part out loud a little bit, is
Okay.
if you were to compartmentalize this as one situation, but I think the impression I've gotten from our citizen body as a whole is more transparency, less campfires, and behind closed doors. Lay it all out in the open. Sunlight's the greatest disinfectant, and the truth will set you free. And if you've got nothing to hide, you won't be trying to hide anything. So I like that. This as a good teaching moment, learning opportunity to help condition ourselves and the community to what it's like being really transparent, really above the bar. Yeah. So that's my little spiel. Mrs. Ferguson.
Yes, well, I think the precedent is one, the public to know. And I don't think it's gonna be an easy deal.
I agree. The ship has some torn sails. It's not going to be easy getting it back in the harbor, but I think we can. Mr. Holsworth?
Yeah, definitely would like to have copies of this now that it's been public done with accusations that have been made of the previous town board, because I have all them documents. And when you're saying stuff got switched, which is absolutely untrue, everything as former trustees know was straight across the board, and as far as the grievances. And with what was talked about with the brick grant and against the engineer and then complaints and letters.
Can we stick to the precedent?
But I'd like a copy of all of that that's publicly been, please put it out as long as, and what's been said here. That also I will get a copy of that.
I believe it was determined through our open meetings that if information is presented to the board, then it should be included even after the fact in the documentation. So I guess we update the packet, right, with pertinent, and then the website, it's the packet loaded on the website and the packet available in the office. For the open meetings, we have to have a copy available for review. That will be updated. As far as individual copies, I mean, not really committed to that, but sorry, Kathy, she's had her hand up for a while.
Yeah, you know what, this Preston deal, March 3rd, everybody voted on giving the Preston back 210,000 or whatever the amount was. Okay, March 6th, then they had to have a special meeting because Cal did not like the fact that they were giving all this money back. So Trina, even everybody voted for it until March 6th. And then pretty soon they decided no. So then Linda and Trina decided they'd go against it and Cal on giving them back their 210,000 or whatever it was.
That's very true.
And I think that's a big point of concern is no one will, I don't even remember, no one will ever really know what happened.
So why are you bringing it up? It's on the record.
It has to do with the precedent, okay?
Yeah, and they know
was
it.
Brought up and they know.
They know, exactly.
210,000.
Right, they know
And
how
then
you
they knew
voted.
that you
So
voted
you don't need to
against
bring it up,
that.
is my point.
But you had voted for it in the beginning and then all. of a
No, I
sudden
did
you
not.
had- Yes, you
No,
did.
I did not.
Yes, most of maybe you did. but
No, I did not.
everybody else
Everybody else did,
did. Everybody
but
else
I did not.
maybe you did not.
No, I did not.
All right, this is getting a little bit too disorderly. This is gonna be a, there's, I guess, I won't say emotions or personal, history. There's history at play here. For a lot of folks, there's a point where we have to draw a line in the sand and say the past is the past. We've got to find that point. The sooner we can find an opportunity to do so, the better this town will be. I'm praying for the day when we can draw a line in the past and say that was the past of Hermosa. Forget it, please. This is the future.
It's still going on.
I know. Well,
It isn't the past, it's still going on.
we're transitioning. We've got to get used to working. We got to get used to figuring out how to navigate this chair. We're making progress in a lot of areas, in a lot of ways. Some will be more tension than others, and I totally get that. We're gonna get through this, Kathy. We're gonna get through. We're gonna. I promise. I will. Beth, I promise. We're gonna get through this one. And this will be the first of many. We'll get through it. Mr. James.
I just wanted to say one thing, which I don't think I'll be too emotional here, but for Mr. Holdsworth's benefit, I don't disagree with anything that he said. I want to say that I think he's got a right to see what I read. I've emailed that to Terry, so you can print it out for us on a break or whatever and get him a copy, please. I want to make it clear, I don't think you were saying this, Mr. Holdsworth, but I'm not accusing you of any. I didn't accuse you. Okay, that's what that attorney emailed me. He's saying that. I don't know why he's saying those things. I haven't seen any proof of those things. He's saying those things to me, but I don't know why he's saying those things to me. But that's the I just want the board to know, because that's the basis for their frustration. That's the basis for their perceived problems. I don't know whether they have any basis in fact or not, but that's what he has claimed. Again, I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about, I wasn't here. I don't know. Everything may have been totally above board as far as I know. So it's not, it's that attorney making that claim in that letter to me. So just so you know, it's not coming from me. Okay. Anyway.
All right. Trustee Kramer.
Just one comment, and that is with, I don't care who it is that's asking for the reports, but they all can, anybody can have them. And, I think the standard was that, they maybe had to pay for the copies, whatever it is, 25 cents a piece or whatever it is, if they wanted the copies, but all of they are privy to those papers. So,
All righty. Do we have any further on the question at the moment? I kind of feel like we're not really knowing much. Trustee
So
Ferguson?
when is the next date that we're going to discuss this at a meeting?
I think the 20th of July is when it was postponed.
Is it-
to.
They requested we do it on the 20th. And I said
Yes.
it'll have to be a special meeting.
Okay, that's a special meeting.
At,
Okay.
At
at,
6 o'clock.
at 6,
I
okay, thank you,
confirmed that with Krista today.
thank you.
Alrighty.
And I believe that's farther down in the agenda. We had-
Okay.
We scheduling of that under old business.
Moving on, I do not believe we have anything in town updates. Anything community related we got going on, that the town is really directly involved in? I don't think so right now. No? Alrighty, citizen stakeholder items. We've got nothing submitted this week from the citizens that I know of. Planning and zoning. Okay, so now we need to do that little thing. I will entertain a motion to. Trustee Kramer?
Can I say something here?
Okay.
This to me is annoying. I know it is the ruling, but I think that if we need planning and zoning, I think that we should have special meeting for that. Maybe we should have planning and zoning meetings on Monday night before the Tuesday night meeting, and that being the only thing. For one thing, our meetings are always too long. This would compartment, I mean, it would have one thing done, and we wouldn't have to adjourn and re-adjourn and all that if we just did planning and zoning like on Monday nights.
Faye and I have been talking about that. Maybe not Monday. I'm not gonna break up another. I'm not gonna schedule to have another night lost, but maybe Tuesday at 5 before the regular meeting.
Well, I'm game for that.
P&Z meeting at 5 or 5:30 if it's a very, very like one item P&Z agenda.
Yep, I'm game for that.
Yeah, no, that's good. But we're kind of navigating. We're getting used to dotting the i's and crossing the t's.
Yep.
And this is the while imperfect, method of madness we're using it to accomplish that at the moment. So I will entertain a motion to not adjourn.
Yes, you have to adjourn and then,
Trustees.
And reconvene.
and re-adjourn as the
We have to
board.
do a separate motion, right?
Oh, they do.
Separate motion to convene as the planning and zoning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It can't be the same. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll make the motion to adjourn as Board of Trustees. I'm sorry, I didn't have the time. 6:44, please.
6:44.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. We are now. Nothing. I'll make a motion to convene as the Planning and Zoning Commission. I will entertain a motion.
Yep, I'll make the motion that we
Motion
convene
made.
as a planning and zoning at 6:44.
Motion made, motion seconded. Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, we are now planning and zoning. Approved digging grading permit for parcels 015-192, 015-193. This is back on that Walter Street project. Now, we had
Neil,
waited on this because of floodplain stuff. What
No,
was
the
it?
requirement of the building, when you needed a digging permit.
Oh, fresh digging permit. Yeah,
oh, the
that'll do it.
date was wrong, right?
It was, I think it was the previous one that.
He had a
was-
building permit, but I thought he didn't have a digging permit.
So is this exact, excuse me for interrupting, sir. Is this the exact packet that we had the last time for this then, other than just the digging permit?
I'm assuming, like I say, Barley didn't.
Neil, thank you.
Yeah, this will be their background information so that you know that it was the same so before we included everything in there just for background so that you were aware of everything that was done previously. Basically this is kind of cleaning up the process where it is a digging permit. You've already previously approved building permit and so forth. Couple things that I just pointed out in the staff report that I would make a recommendation on is that the engineer be notified once the utility is to be established. And, because then it also does come up with plans for inspection. And we should really get a site plan showing all the easements and the floodplain in there. So this property is a floodplain, but then you get a floodplain permit in 24 feet, I believe that was included in the package as well.
Okay, Neil, the only thing that I want to complain about is that I still would like to see a grid plan with the north and the south and the highway here, and it's this many feet away, and it's, the building starts 10 feet away from the property line, or, you know, whatever there. And I would like to see that on every single building permit, please.
Site plan, essentially. Yeah, we have drawings, we have maps.
Drawings, yes, but I want it on,
Floodplain, but we don't have the actual site.
exactly, an actual site plan,
I
correct.
do like page 19, it shows, so, one question for you, Neil, is, the FEMA stuff, you're happy with all the flood mapping and everything being fully up to par on this?
That's the reason why I made a suggestion that he put the site plan depicting all the easements and the floodplain so that we make sure that he done it.
Yeah, because the flood maps I see, the public ones on the FEMA sites, they all show that this is still, they haven't updated the mapping. Which, what is that they need to do to update the flood map? Lomar, they haven't done that as far as I know. So the flood maps still show basically this is all going to be underwater on the public stuff. So I don't know if if that's something we should
Require?
require that Lomars and things are actually being done, because I've heard that caused hiccups down the road. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I could probably help them out there. So typically what we'll do is ask them to do a elevation certificate for the lot. And that's kind of the document you need before the Walmart that you'd send to FEMA.
Okay.
So there'll be that they survey it, there's the site, and then there's the proposed building. And so what happens is when they do a letter of map division, they'll take the building out of the floodplain, but the rest of the property around it will still remain in it. And they identify the level that finished floor needs to be at, so that's how they create the document. And that'll gray out that square, it'll be a floodplain X, it's called. And so, the first step is for them to do elevations,
Who to do it?
surveyors.
And we can say that this elevation change, this, raising this pad essentially out of the floodplain did not cause that 1 foot of rise, horrible magic number, that everything was good and Elmer's happy with this. He's happy with that. Everything that was done was done. Do we have anything documentation from Elmer?
So in the floodplain, they can do compensating cut and fills. So if the volume of dirt that they bring into a spot equals the volume of dirt they remove from a spot, then that satisfies that requirement. That's usually shown on the elevation.
That's better.
So did Elmer prove that fact afterwards? I mean, I know he okayed it, but did he put in the paperwork, or the actual elevations in the paperwork that was done?
I guess the role Elmer would fill would be the one I'm explaining.
Yes,
He would be the one doing that explanation, so I'm kind of.
yeah,
For Elmer at the moment. But yeah, that's what he would do, is give them the guidance that resident needs to go through the process. And then Elmer verifies that it happened.
so I guess the main questions on that would be, we probably need the, was it 2014 permits that were already given?
2024. 2024.
2024, okay, whatever,
In your package.
Yeah, he had that 2024
in there.
permit in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no letter from Elmer.
Okay. So, all right, we don't have a motion on the floor or anything for this. Does anybody feel like they're ready to make one?
I do have something I'll add. So Tad did contact us about Terry first, and then Terry said, give him a call, about taps, water and sewer taps. So, and then give him some guidance on where in the main he should be tapping his water and his sewer. So John and I talked about it. And, we probably need to work on some better guidance in our ordinance on where they should be tapping or how that process works. But one of the rules of thumb that John and I kind of came up with was, if you're out of the setbacks, depending on where that utility is, then you're in your property and you can tap the sewer. The sewer in that case runs east-west, and so he would tap it, so he's out of his north-south property setbacks. And the same thing with the water, it's perpendicular. So he would be out of his north-south setbacks when he taps that water. That's kind of where he's at, and I think his plan is, I don't know if he's already come in yet, Terry, or not, but his plan was to come in and pay those fees. I passed on that document. So I think he's working on that too, so we should probably let him know. He needs to get with survey on what that's up.
Okay. Any motions on this that anybody's ready to make?
So is Elmer working on this also?
Probably not too familiar with us even talking
Because I
about
was
that.
gonna say, we always have paperwork from Elmer, and he's always telling us. So is he in the back burner or what?
Well, I think he did this in 2024. He
Right.
did the club stuff, and Neil said that was how that would work. I was going to see if there's anything in the file.
So, should I entertain a motion approving contingent on, acceptance by floodplain administrator? I'll entertain that.
I would like to.
Not a bad idea, Neil? No, I think it sounds like a good idea. All righty. I will entertain a motion to approve contingent upon What did I say? Not approval.
Floodplain
I guess,
administrators.
yeah, all right. Approve contingent upon verification with floodplain administrator.
That's Elm, right?
Correct.
Well, we just always have people with this, like.
May just be a simple phone call, but they may not, but I guess we'll see. Kick the ball to the other side of the court and see what happens. Anybody want to make that motion?
We did a digging grading permit in 24. And then the floodplain. It's anything from Alvin. Okay, here's the report from Walmart. This should have been. And I copied it. That was when he did the floodplain.
Oh,
permit in
cool.
24, so I could make.
Place
copies.
bill on lot fund through.
And here's some.
Rock drainage. We got 1 foot above, we got 5 foot below the base flood. Hazard zone is essentially. No velocity of flow, and therefore very little probability of scour of fill place. Sorry, I'm speed reading, folks.
It's okay.
Modify the ASU zone. This will be adequate to allow the town to issue building and grading permits, but will not legally move the AE zone to coincide with the grading. The developer will need to submit the necessary forms, data, and fees to FEMA to obtain a letter of map revision. Fill to legally move the zone boundary. A LOMAR-F can only be obtained based on as-built conditions. General comments about the application. I've struck out statement and approval conditions, page 4. Bill cannot be placed where he's. Okay, so I have from Elmer Claycomb. Developer will need to submit the necessary forms, data, and fees to FEMA to obtain a letter of map revision, Phil, to legally move the zone boundary. So I think we need a Lomar F before we can greenlight this. Does that everybody? Anybody want to read this? Or do you trust Adam? Seriously though, here, I don't want
to
to.
make copies.
Yeah, well, we can, yeah.
It's gonna have
Does
to be.
everybody want copies
You
or?
guys are all looking at it, right?
So yeah, gotta have Lomar, and probably want it before there's a structure on it.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, good idea. Not before the horse.
Yeah, that was my.
Okay, so does anybody have any action that at this point in time they think we should take on this, or should we table it?
I think we need.
I think we need to table it. I feel badly for him if he is in a hurry. If he is in a big hurry, all we can do is, get that information first and then have a meeting as soon as possible if we can, but that information is, we can't proceed without it.
So I will entertain a motion to table this item pending receipt of a Lomar-F.
Thank you. I'll make that motion.
All right, motion made. Do we have a second?
I will set with comment.
Trustee Ferguson, second.
So, we'll have to, contact him right away so that he knows there's been a hold.
He may not remember receiving this letter. Hopefully he did receive this letter
Already.
and maybe this is something he forgot to do, or maybe he did it and just never submitted it. That would be ideal,
be a
but the maps
blessing.
right now look like the Lomar was never done. So,
So-
it's really, it all looks like it's underwater.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, motion made, motion seconded.
Who seconded?
Johnny?
John, thank you, okay.
Any further, discussion? Mr. Holsworth?
I believe, and you can ask Neil or Anthony, I thought on commercial permits, whether it was remodeling or building, that it had to be submitted by an engineer plan. And I've never seen an engineer plan for our ordinance that basically stated that, so.
We're considering. Make a note.
Yeah, note that, check into that one. There's a guy.
Yeah.
So, Aaron,
Mr. Theodoro?
so he's asking for a digging and grading permit, well, not a building permit. So I was waiting for him to do a building permit, and then I would say, look, where's your engineer and for your commercial building? So I don't know if that works or what.
Well, we can make sure he's notified when he's asked for the Lomar that he still needs to have engineered plans. Yeah,
You said it, yeah, John told him.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. It'd be nice to remind him probably if he comes in, so.
Alrighty, motion on the floor. I'll wait for Terry. You don't need to take votes, that's Terry here, that would be.
That's right.
No point to. Thank you, Terry. Okay, we have motion on the floor. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 All five ayes, motion passed. Okay. Good discussion, everyone. That was good. Okay. After that. Put that there. All right, 9, and that applied to both parcels. Well, it's one structure occupying two. Yeah, that's clear enough, clear as mud. B, approved digging grading permit for parcel 009279, town of Formosa. Do we approve our own permits? I guess we'll see. Seriously though, I guess I'll go ahead and introduce this one. There's a site plan in there. Faye and I kind of started tackling this leak issue of the tank leaking up on Tower Hill. We ended up getting sandbags in. We did the first round, what was it, last Thursday or Friday? End of last week, we put in about 63 bags, I think.
Yeah.
To get an idea of how it was gonna work, and it kind of did. And then, but we kind of then noticed that it didn't work as well as we wanted it to, so we went back up and we ended up outlining the entire tank in bags. And because it was saturating all the soil around the foundation, like badly. And by the time night came, when we did the first round, the hill that was running down to the houses was dry. And then now we've got it running southwest-ish, kind of on the other side of the road. It is controlled, but even better news is that it's not going to really be that big of a problem. Well, it's in the later discussion. Anyway, this permit, it's not an emergency anymore. And it was, as much of anything, an exercise in what it's like to fill out a building permit in town of Formosa, a digging grading permit. I've never done one before, and I kind of think, everybody should try it before they buy it. That kind of thing. Understand what you're asking other people to do before you. Good leaders never ask someone else to do something they wouldn't be willing to do themselves. So it was interesting, but we did get a staff report. I think maybe my site plan wasn't clear enough because we're far from anything sensitive as far as work being done around the foundations. Liability insurance, so it would be volunteer. Town's liability insurance covers volunteers once they fill out that fun little volunteer form. Dechlorination, we did get information on dechlorination tablets. We need to have those on hand, I think is kind of a lesson we may have learned, is that we need to have a bucket of those available. So if we get a leak or something, we can start dechlorinating.
Do they expire?
It's just a chemical, hockey puck looking deal. Yeah, kind of like the opposite of a pool chlorine tab. It's
Dechlorinate tablet.
yeah, yeah, the yang to the yin, whatever. I think we should probably get those on hand. Not an emergency, but I think if we're gonna know that we need to dechlorinate any leaking water, then we should have even so. And on the product it says also if you're doing purges on fire hydrants, you're supposed to dechlorinate. You're supposed to put these tablets in the flow and dechlorinate, even if you're just cycling and testing fire hydrants. So maybe add that to the next agenda as something. It's the container I saw is like $400 for a bucket that'll treat, and it's 19,000 gallons per tablet, and it's like a 5-gallon bucket full of tablets. So it'll probably treat.
Does it ever go bad?
I don't know. That's worth looking at, but it's sealed tablet in a bucket. Hopefully not.
I wouldn't think so, but I just think we need to know that.
It's sulfur. Is it sulfur? Sodium. Yeah, that's it. Sodium. Yeah. Good one to have on hand, John.
I'm embarrassed, I know that. Yeah. I don't know if they expire either, honestly, so that's probably a good thing to look at.
Yeah. Anyway, as far as this building permit, I don't know what y'all want to do. If you want to table it, if you want to, well, I wouldn't say we should disappear it completely. So maybe if anybody wants to table this, pending, because the divers may be coming in tomorrow. Actually, they're planning to come in tomorrow. They were going to try to make it out today, but they had vehicle issues, but they're going to come out tomorrow, which is why it's very good that we're actually going to approve them. Hopefully we're going to approve them tonight so that they'll get paid for what they do. So yeah, this is an emergency, but it's something we need to have dealt with long term.
So I think this is something that should be tabled until the fall, September, October, something in that. We've got budgets coming. The actual problem is going to be fixed by the divers. And yes, we need to do something about this, but I think with everything we got coming on our plate already, that this can be delayed until the fall.
First meeting in September?
September's fine. First meeting in September, that's fine by me.
Everybody good with that? I'll entertain a motion to table this until the first meeting in September.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion made. We have a second? Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? All right, very good. Moving right along. Oh, water project SRF loan update and discussion. We can go back to Board of Trustees before we can do this. It's just discussion. It's really not necessarily planning and zoning, but it was kind of where do we put this? So
It's on planning and zoning. Let's discuss it in this and then adjourn and go forward.
Convert back. All right, water project SRF loan update and discussion of path forward. So last week I got a really, really great email. One simple line. Yes, you still may receive the low interest rate loan. What do you want it for? We just need to know what money you want. We can still get the low interest loan. So I said, well, we're kind of after the citizens told us, looking maybe we know we should do the treatment. So yeah, it's a matter of getting the resolution redone and attach it to hopefully just the treatment and see if the citizens want to kick it back again, which I'm hoping they won't, because instead of being $2 million, it would be what? 500,000,
600,000,
well, we get approved for 500,000, right? Then we end up getting it done for the 300, which was the high bid last time, but we'll need to rebid everything.
Well, and excuse me again, didn't you state that you wanted other things with that?
So.
And that I'm guessing would be more expensive is my point.
Not entirely sure on that, but so The loan, SRF loan, needs to go to things we have to do. We like things that are
Yes.
not necessarily mandatory, but not bells and whistles. You know, we need to change the engine in our car, not give it a new GPS system, right? So the radium treatment is a requirement. If we ever exceed that, we're in trouble.
Right.
So the SRF loan covers that. We want to look at getting the underground tank set up as a bulk water reservoir, essentially. So that's its only use. It has a use now, but its only use is bulk water, untreated. So we don't have to jump through nearly as many hoops with DANR, and we don't have to spend money treating water. We're just going to have people spray in their building,
Mhm.
right? That's totally recreational as far as we're working on that tank. That's not going to go up in the SRF. We could. I don't see a universe where we could get an SRF loan attached to a tank that we're using to make money. Right? This is all we're looking to benefit, but it's not necessary. The SRF loan, they're gonna be hard on us making sure it's obligatory. I don't know of anything else we can put in there because the well is obviously dead duck from what people are telling me. Trustee Kramer?
Thank you. In the past, it would have had to have been in the original bids. So that might just take care of everything.
It's
Because-
the facilities plan. Our facilities
Right.
plan is the well, the Gumbo Lily extension, and the treatment. Now the well, that was its isolated part. You know, it's almost like we're saying, well, we're only exercising part of our plan, and the treatment plant is standalone. It doesn't need any peripherals in order to function, really, because it's only for the one well.
Okay.
Um,
So we can have a work session to discuss this and decide what we need to do with this, correct?
yeah, I'll say special meeting because I think I'm cooked on work sessions. I think
Whatever.
we need to make them a little.
That's fine.
But there is another peripheral. So looking at our water testing, there's others. So there's radium, but there's also barium and some others. And I would like to talk to DANR again and see if we could do anything there because they are mandatory meets. We're meeting them now, but we're meeting radium. We're doing this to treat radium even though we're already meeting it. We've also got barium and other things. Can we see if we can expand the treatment to clean up some of these others that are not necessarily emergencies, but could potentially be risky in the future? I don't know. I
So,
think that's worth a conversation with them.
so in a special meeting, we can discuss all that, get a proper letter or are you gonna ask those questions before our meeting?
I'll definitely give somebody a call over there and ask them, but I saw some hands, John, Anthony.
Again,
I think it was this side.
Okay, well, let Trustee Kramer, sorry, Trustee Kramer.
so, yeah. Sorry, if I think about it, I'll ask.
So on July 10th, the media is supposed to arrive. That's Friday. I would like to maybe get you in touch with Nick Bachman from ECT2. I thought John had already passed that contact over to you because the other things like, okay, so for example, taste related issues. Ellsworth has PFAS issues. And so they use ion exchange to remove the PFAS, but it still leaves a fishy taste. So then they use GAC after that. That's with PFAS. That may not be the case for us. But then they use GAC after the ion exchange as a system. It's just a package system. And that improves the taste. And so you can point to, I mean, you have to work with the DANR and with the manufacturer to see if that extra small filtration can be added in. And you could say it's a safety feature in case, you know, like you got an extra layer of safety there. That if something ever, you know, you did have any percentage at small MCLs of radium go through, and that actually might help you to push it more through, a little bit more through. So anyways, that would be a discussion I think you worthwhile you having with them.
Yeah.
To see if they could achieve your goals. Because the DANR had pre-approved the media purchase that it would be included in the loan. We have that in writing, and then we have one bidder that came in pretty cheap to do the equipment.
And does the media expire? Does it have a half-life, a shelf life?
You mentioned the barium, and that's interesting. So it's on the same periodic table column as radium. So for every mile of barium that's in that water, there's an inch of radium. So, but the barium is not dangerous. It's just, it's there. It's in the same geological formation. So it uses up the media. The barium uses up the media because it doesn't know it's barium or radium. So it'll knock that ion out.
Yeah, the
Interesting.
But that's another thing, they've got the
same
testing.
outer shell.
Yeah, they've got the testing and they can go over things like that with you too, so. I don't know, if John, you already sent that over to him or not? or-
Yeah, I might not have, so I'm resending it. So,
When did they-
a few days later.
All right, so we do have some foot headway. All right, so water. There's separate stuff on the bulk. Let me see if water projects. So we know we need a resolution. We need a new dollar amount. We need a new resolution. The precursors, the avoiding the cart before the horse thing is actually. Did I integrate that? Bulk water. Where's bulk water? E, old business E. So we'll get more into that in that one. But anybody else have any thoughts on how things are going with this?
You said one more thing,
Mhm.
and that's in terms of I mean, maybe that should be a discussion for that special meeting or whatever, but, the mechanism of filling the tank was in the new tank was in the,
Couldn't that be it also?
Oh, we've got.
Fuller did that. It's a pump house. Now there's no well, and that would have been what would have primarily filled the tank, but in the design, there was a backup pump house in case the well was getting worked on, that the tank could fill itself from the town. You're gonna still need that part.
So let me see where, if this is the right place, as good as any to have that. All right, so. Existing tank, new tank in place, new tank's base elevation. The floor of the new tank is 6 feet higher than the floor of the old tank. The new tank's 25 feet tall, the old tank's 50 feet tall. The old tank's 336,000 gallons, the new one's 127,000 gallons. So we're gravitying water uphill. Short-term problems need short-term solutions. Talking with Quinn, we do need to pump. Essentially, we need to pump out of that hydrant. I've talked to him about a way to where we can do it without risking a vacuum or suction on our main. Two things. One, if we get these divers in here tomorrow and we get that tank patched up, we can push it. Let's keep it full. That'll help that tank fill. Hydrant. Junction. We need a pressure gauge. And we need a check valve pointing in. Essentially, what we need is a check valve on that. So if it finds it's a situation where the main isn't providing water fast enough to feed the pump, instead of sucking on the main, it would open the check valve and suck in air. It would shut the pump down, kill the pump, but it wouldn't risk our main. We don't want to expose our main to suction under any circumstances ever. We can't put suction on the main. We need to be able to have a pressure gauge on there so we can tell whether there's pressure. It needs to be bidirectional gauge. Proper pressure gauge, so we can tell if we go below zero pressure, we need to kill it. We cannot let any suction. But the 2-inch pump we have down there at the pump house, I think that'll do the job. I told him we would really like to get to 50 gallons a minute. At that level, we're probably there, right? At that hydrant, we could probably pull 50 gallons a minute, but when the hose runs up the side of the tank 25 feet, we lose that. So I think we can get to 50 gallons a minute at that hydrant. So what the pump would really be doing is adding head pressure, adding a 25 foot of lift. That's what that pump needs to be done. It doesn't need to move volumes, just needs to add 25 feet of lift. So if we can get it to where we stay positive pressure between the hydrant and the pump, and it can get 50 gallons a minute up that hose, then we're at a 41-hour fill time. So we've got a pump, we've got some check valves, need a pressure gauge, and I think they already have a backflow preventer.
That's what they told me.
Yeah, I think you can barely see it from the road, but I think that's a backflow
Because
preventer.
I asked them a number of times. They said, "Yep, we got one." So should be there already. Yeah.
Yeah,
Told me.
but that pump it's got like a 2-gallon tank, so another part of that is going to be volunteer people to babysit it, because Quinn's like, you're asking us to babysit a pump? I don't know, but that's board discussion. All right, I talked a lot.
So,
Yeah.
Welcome to my.
Well, it's all been bouncing around in my head, so it's kind of like people valve open and that's still out.
I know how you feel.
I just have a funny comment. You're trying to explain how this works, and I already know how that works because in my fish pond,
Oh.
if I want to go up the hill so that I have a
Waterfall.
waterfall, I have to have a bigger pump than just if I want a pretty fountain.
Mhm.
Same, yep. Silly, but true. But true.
Gravity works.
Yeah.
so on, you were saying 40 to 50 gallons a minute fill time. I just want to put out there to the board that the well house does about 60 to 65 gallons per minute. So if we're gonna fill that, it's gonna take 2 days. That's gonna put we're gonna be draining the tanks here quite a bit. Just wanna make you all aware. And I can watch that report, the PSI that Terry, but it may be something to consider, water restrictions or something like that, just to help. If
During
you
that
want to fill it
timeframe.
that, I know Quinn wants to fill it really, really fast, but if maybe consider to say, hey, maybe slow it a little bit, maybe we take 3 or 4 days to fill it, I suppose, so.
Well, another thing on that note is when they started filling it and they got to the point where they told me that it will be Christmas when it's filled, it was going slow enough. They went back out there and looked and saw leaks.
Yeah.
So I'm not necessarily thrilled about the idea of let's rip this wide open and try to get it full. Let's do 5 feet, check it again. Do 5 feet, check it again. Let's not fill the entire tank and then be like, oh, there's a leak 5 feet up.
Yeah.
Let's dump 300,000 gallons
Right.
chlorinated water.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's not do that. Let's not fill our lagoon because that's
Yeah. From what I know, I mean, their concern was they want some back pressure in there, just even getting some water in there helps. Now it's been sitting empty again, and I know they're concerned about that, but I would suggest take a little more time to fill it, and I think,
Yeah.
that's what you were thinking.
As far as the collapse concerned, I feel like if you get it 10, 15, 20% full, you've got a stable base. Yeah, it being completely empty, then I could see maybe there's some wind concerns. But if you guys, because if it has to be full in order to not fall over, then it's not a tank. You're using water from it. It's not useful. You gotta be able to go up and down. Yeah. Okay, so does that sound fair? I kind of gave them an idea that we might have this plan put together by next Monday. We've got some check valves. We've got some things, but we need a pressure gauge that will give us either pressure or suction on one gauge. I think that's what we want.
So I did speak to Derek today, and he said they were planning to come out tomorrow. To do the bolt sealing, right? They're remaining bolt sealing.
So they're just coming out tomorrow, so we've got 7 days basically from tomorrow.
Yeah, said like 3-4 days is what he said, but
Oh yeah.
it is a delay.
Everything I've seen says 7 days cure time every time you redo it. But yeah, we'll
Maybe he's counting on the weekend.
yeah, hopefully. Business days, 4 business days. Okay. Anybody else got anything on this?
I was just gonna say, we did have a bid from Fuller on some stuff, like the pump house and stuff. Would you wanna have them come in and discuss value engineering?
Yeah, I was getting to that. Okay, I was getting down that road, but I didn't get the rest of the way through it. New tank, taller than the old tank. 2-inch booster pump sitting on hill by new tank. Get it set up to where we have both hybrid pressure and or volume from this booster. Run that booster, that tank fills from here. I talked to the ANR. They are good with us doing a dual inlet outlet, a universal inlet outlet on that tank. So the idea would be we would essentially get it to where this tank gets filled and then it gets pumped up to that tank, but the system still has, because of the hybrid gravity versus pressure, it would still have an equilibrium it could achieve. So the other tank would basically be a giant remote pressure reservoir, essentially is how I'm thinking. This pump just pushes the water up the line to the other one. But before we even get there, we need the pressure reducers throughout town. So we don't blow up Ferguson development because we're trying to get 45 PSI in the hill. And then we need to run 400 feet of water line, 390 feet of water line. And then we need to get that booster pump connection re-engineered.
Some of those items are in his bid, so, you know, I'm sure if you asked them to come in and he said, you know, we have explain what happened and, you know, we want to value engineer this, we want to bring this into a reasonable budget. You know, it might allow you to then utilize that contractor. Which, because we did a bid process.
Pressure is a basic requirement. Radium compliance is a basic requirement. So is pressure. Can the booster be integrated into the SRI? Or is it too late? Would we need to modify the facilities plan? That's the conversation. These are conversations that have to be had with the A&R. Because that, if we can the pressure is a concern, and this individual pumps nightmare has to stop.
Would the pressure be something that a booster would be permanent or this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the individual boosters are the problem. The idea is that we have that booster up there is not running right now because we need flow, we need fire flow, 500 gallons. That booster is only going to move like 80. But if we get it set up with hybrid, we get it plumbed so it's hybrid, so it pushes pressure when it can, but will allow gravity go through when necessary. You know, because that's all check valves, right? You have the pump pushing at the pressure you want, but if it's pushing against nothing, a check valve opens and will give you 500 gallons a minute around the pump, essentially make a bypass. But I don't know, this might be SRF-able, maybe,
Yes.
because we do have a pressure requirement. You are expected to be able to provide your customers with
Oh, yeah.
proper pressure.
And it keeps it from being contaminated water. So.
Right. Yeah, okay. Anything else on this? I'm sorry, this has been going on.
No, it's good.
Everybody good? All right,
I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn as planning and zoning
motion made. Do we have a second?
At 7:25,
at 7:25 adjourn.
Motion made,
I'll second that.
motion seconded. Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed. Now we need to reconvene as the Board of Trustees.
I'll make a motion, we reconvene as the Board of Trustees at 7:26.
Motion made. Do we have a second? Yes. Motion made and seconded. Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, so I felt like I talked a lot there, but this plan is just like, I can see it and I think in pictures and I wish I had a better way to share it with y'all.
I think it's okay that the board members are allowed to talk as much as they need to explain their point of view. Thank you.
Okay. Do we want to take a short break before we get into other things?
Yes.
Yeah? Very good.
I am finally agree with you on a break.
5-minute recess? Okay.
I'm usually like, oh, really?
The most of them just send me is what's wrong.
Yeah, you can put that on.
Okay.
I know, I know it's so hard. I appreciate the fact that you did.
Yeah, you can probably go.
Oh, yeah, you can have freedom.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah.
No, I'm just giving you that.
Set that down.
Hmm?
You have a koi pond?
Yes.
I love koi ponds.
Me too. Not just koi, goldfish too.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's cool. Usually finish it.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna text Lon and tell him we're almost halfway through. Do we have to have an executive session tonight?
I have no idea.
Aaron? Oh, no, not Aaron. Let's run outside
Went out or something.
with 2 other board members, 3 of them out there.
Well, maybe somebody's in the bathroom.
Oh, that could be.
How's the foot coming?
Oh, I bet.
Good.
Yeah. Getting better.
Engine in and out of the boat.
I've only been
I'm sure we can do that.
Oh, yes.
I enjoy
I know that.
Yeah.
It always does, in the swing sets, the swing and the.
Yeah.
Yeah, I miss all of that. Yeah.
We're still trying to get. Plug them on.
They, the weeds are really growing up in that route and too.
Oh, yeah.
Gary went out and he said, oh, I didn't like exercise. To create route. Just.
Yeah.
Improve their residential.
Demands.
Oh.
Say, do you know, do we have to have an executive session tonight? You know?
I know.
You don't?
I don't know how much to feed. Probably appreciate that.
No, but
So it'll be something.
But that means nothing. There's none on my side. That doesn't mean there's none for other sides that might have. Okay.
Scout project or what it was.
Yeah.
So then church members like.
The heating pad's working.
Oh, you're using it?
Oh, yeah, I do that too. I turned it on before the meeting and I have my ankles doing it.
Oh, yeah.
So what they're going to play on, you know.
Until my foot falls.
Did you do pretty good on your fundraiser?
Well, there's only 2 of us that showed up. I made about $650 that donated to the playground
Okay.
project, so that was what I.
Oh, that was the room sale.
Oh, is that what I thought you were talking, yeah. So that.
Yeah, the one
stuff
we had
we
at
go-
the church.
Oh, you mean the raffle downstairs?
Spaghetti and.
I don't know what the base from that. I didn't get that. So, I wasn't. That was not great, and I felt like a lot of the people that were there were church members too, so.
Thank you.
I didn't see a lot of outside people, didn't see a lot of advanced.
Now what do we have?
And that was just,
Here,
yeah.
I know, I was really.
off care when it's time. Like your tie, sir.
Oh, thanks, this is one of my, less snazzy ties, it's not a,
Look,
it's budget tie.
it's a budget tie. Well, I like it, but I like, paisley. It kind of looks paisley.
Yeah, it's a
And-
little,
And I like paisley, so.
try to mix it up.
Good.
If I could borrow one of those copies.
Yes, you can.
I'm gonna-
Do you wear holiday ties?
If I remember, I've got a few.
Okay.
I've got a Christmas one. I forgot my 4th of July one this year. 'Cause it was on a Saturday, so I didn't.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
third were the holidays, so
I wore
I
my,
got a nice, like, signing of the Declaration tie.
nice. Do you go to the Playhouse, sir?
No.
And the reason I'm asking
I
is
can't.
because their play right now is the
I've heard
signing
that,
of it,
yeah.
and
I would
it was
like it.
pretty good.
Yeah, and my 3-year-old will not
Oh,
tolerate
of
that.
course, yeah, that's right. Yep.
See, we gotta be pretty careful about what we go to.
Yeah, I'm sure that's right.
When we went to Disney World, we did that, like the Hall of Presidents thing or whatever.
Mhm.
And she threw a fit in the middle of it. I had to leave with her. It was.
What part did she love? It's a Small World.
Oh, yeah. Did she like that? She liked the mermaid ride,
Oh, yeah.
There was lots of stuff that she did love, but the Hall of Presidents was not her favorite.
Not it, yeah.
Not her thing.
I love Disney.
Yeah.
So anyway.
I can watch and rewatch and rewatch and rewatch Lady and the Tramp and the Aristocats. Those are my favorite.
Oh, those are fun.
Yeah, I'm old. I remember when I was little. I was the oldest girl in our family, and I have a lot of, well, to me it was a lot of cousins, and all the holidays were always at my folks' house, and we had a ping pong table downstairs, and so we rarely had a Thanksgiving or a Christmas without 28 people there, and all of the young people sat around the picnic table for dinner, and the adults were upstairs. But then not to mention the fact, like I said, I was the oldest girl. So I had to take all the other kids to the Disney movie every holiday. Sometimes I'd have 12 little kids following me around. So it was, yeah. So,
It was just me and my twin, but the first movie we went to see was Dumbo,
oh,
the old Dumbo.
the old one.
Yeah, and I just fell in love with
It
Dumbo.
was so sad.
It was, wasn't it? That's how I was, yeah. Yeah. I remember that, you know, at my age, the Love Bug movies were really a big deal when I was that age.
I think I love Bug because
The Volkswagen?
yeah,
Huh? But you don't see them anymore. I mean, I don't know. I guess I haven't looked.
was he named Kirby or something?
Yeah,
Kirby.
something like that. Very good.
Oh, okay, well, there you go. That answers my question. Maybe I'll have to.
Yeah.
Go back to my office.
You could resist.
There you go, okay. I'll tell you about it.
Yeah. Both sides. It's good. To know. It's good to know.
Yeah, but decorate, we look like the worst. Yeah.
I'm just sticking around there until he,
Yeah.
or not he, yeah, he-
Oh, that's
yeah, I don't have any,
I don't like undressed.
I don't see anything else from you.
It's really good.
Always been really fun. My sister's not.
all right. So, yes, nine.
My mother really wanted me to be a girly girl.
We said 5 minutes.
I know.
We passed 5 minutes.
However, I believe that your clothes should kind of match, you know. But
All right, folks, everybody
but for me,
ready?
it's my shoes match my shirt.
We will reconvene at 7:35
You got it.
and into old business. Motions for action in response to wastewater treatment plant state electrical inspection findings. Trina, I was wondering if you might have any updates on the classification. I actually had to escort, well, I guess I can start with this thing. I had to escort Black Hills Electric out there. They needed to take a look at their panel. And they did advise me that they need to be able to get in there. If they need to get in there, they have to have access. So we'll have to get them set up so that they have unconditional access. If they need to get there and shut off the power, we're not gonna want them to bolt buttons, run the truck through the fence, whatever they have to do to shut power. But other than that, I don't know if you have any updates on the classification.
I sent Brandon Stanton the email from HDR, and I'm waiting to hear back from him. I just got that done this week, so he hasn't had it very long. I know that his letter said that he wanted everything by the 10th. Yeah, Friday, the 10th. So that's what we're waiting for is the 10th. He should have everything as far as the building electrical goes. No, as far as let me rephrase that, as far as the declassification goes of the building. So I sent that email to Brandon. Electrical information that he was asking for in his email, I have not heard back yet. I was waiting for Anthony on that. Anthony, have you been in touch with Brandon Stanton, the state electrical inspector, on where we're at on the pump house?
Almost. The treatment plant?
The treatment plant, sorry, yes.
So, yeah, I was out of town when this was going on, and so, I'm glad to see my colleagues in the engineering world concurred with me on the classification. I I can say that I had a cheat sheet because that treatment plant was designed by Interstate Engineering
Yeah.
back in the early 2000s. And we did have NEC codes with classifications and it was declassified then. And that was with the wastewater from Apple Springs, which is a lot more potent than our wastewater, which is just lagoon, effluent, partially treated. So that's the HDR thing and classification. Now, the other part of Brandon Stanton's letter, well, first of all, state inspectors get called in when there's a permit. And so the permit, I believe, that was pulled was for the work that Mike Shorb did from the power supply to the main breaker panel. So that's kind of there as a thing. And then you have the main breaker panel to the rest of the building, which would be a permit that John's electrician would pull, right? And so my understanding is that Wasey's had pulled the permit and been discussing with Brandon those issues, which mainly involved the grounding of different conduits within the treatment plant. But the other comments in his original report got addressed by a licensed inspector or a licensed contractor, licensed electrician pulling the permit, number one. And number two, that the building is classified by a professional engineer.
Yeah.
So I think those two things are being removed from his report and he's revising it to reflect the permit pulled on the work. So that's something that I think the electrician's working out. I think he got registered here with Terry and everything, so.
Yeah, and I, like I said, I had contacted Brandon Stanton, but I haven't heard back from him because I just did it. I didn't get it done last week, else I would expect to have an email from him. So in the next couple of days, I'll get an email from him. And if it's not forwarded to Terry, I'll forward it to Terry so the whole board can have it. Because in his letter, he said he wanted all of the information by the 10th. So I'm hoping to be able to send an email to the board on or before the 10th from him on where we stand on all of that.
All right, Trustee Miller?
Well, what happens if we don't get it to him by the 10th?
Well, we've given him everything that he needs. So we just need the email back from him stating that he has everything he wants. So that's a great question. Thank you for clarifying.
My understanding was he was asking till the 10th. He was saying, I'm busy. If I can get it, I'll get it to you by the 10th,
Oh, okay.
because of the holiday, the 4th of July and all that.
Okay.
Because we were thinking it could be ready for today's meeting.
Yeah.
And that's what the 10th came up, at least my understanding.
Okay. I'll reread it.
All right, corrections and notification are required to be completed by due date. Failure to comply may result in charge of a $250 administrative fee and re-inspection fee of $150 per hour. So it sounds like it's pretty much black and white of what happens if we miss that due date.
Well, I think we have the due date. I just need the reply that says that he's satisfied with everything. So,
Anybody see any actions, anything, the electrician, the licensed electrician, who's the licensed electrician on this now?
His name's Oasis, Heartland Electric, that's who he is. So he came out and did the corrections, pulled the permit, did the corrections. He's been in communication with the inspectors I came, so I've just kind of been like, yes, please take care of it, make sure it's passes all inspections, so. I know the main things, a lot of it was grounding, bonding of the bushings and stuff, and he got all that taken care of. And there were a couple more breakers that they wanted on GFI. He took care of all that also, so.
All right, so it sounds like, well, we have a licensed electrician on it, working directly with the state inspector. I don't know, anybody have any other thoughts on this before we move on? All righty, we'll just leave it as a continuing agenda item until we have a resolution, right? Until we know exactly, which essentially is another inspection where everything's good. That's the goalpost.
I think you're gonna get a letter from the state inspector, sorry, I didn't mean to.
Yeah.
Another letter from the state inspector that says everything's satisfied. That's my impression.
That was my impression too.
Okay. All right, so this is pending approved invoice from Digger Up Dirtworks and Construction. I think I'll kick this one off. I forgot the number. But yeah, there's a law and there's a statute, and I've been waiting to give Mr. James a chance to a little more deeply interpret it. There's statute that explicitly states that the municipality may not pay for digging, grading, anything outside of the municipal boundaries without a referendum, without a ballot measure. Yeah, and this has all happened outside of municipal boundaries. So I don't know if Mr. James has any more thoughts on that.
Well, I think maybe I was provided with a factual summary of this by you. And so the explanation I got of how this happened, I mean, I don't know the facts for myself, but the explanation I got was that there was digging that was done without permission to a landowner outside city limits. And then material was buried there. And then we're now paying to correct that mistake. So if that's accurate, I'm not sure why it shouldn't be that contractor's responsibility to correct that mistake.
Yeah, we paid, we did a change order. That was a change order to pay to have that, for the work that was done to have that dirt moved. And then DANR said, hey, we're looking at your change order. You were not allowed to do that. Naughty, naughty. And now it's getting moved, but we never approved the relocation of the dirt. We had the Sun grant we talked about as an option to move it, but that I've seen the communications where that grant was denied. Mr. Theodoro?
Yeah, so
I'll just give some background.
I think that it was Mr. James. The area that the work was done is our construction easement. We have a written construction easement with the landowner for the construction of lagoons. And so it's the town's responsibility to have the contractor they hired restore the construction easement back to usable condition as an agricultural property. And so that was a written agreement with the Nagabars. And the Nagabars have been Greg and Mark have been in direct communication about their easement, that's their property. So where the issue arises, and you're partially correct on that, is the contractor put material, because he was running out of material to build the berms. And so he had borrowed material on the east side of the lagoons, which is in the construction easement, to complete the construction of the berms. Then put South Dakota Rural Water and the previous engineer that I've heard from ASIS had all investigated the sludge in Lagoon B, which is the lagoon that was modified. Is there any sludging? And in the reports and all the documents, they said there's not. So that's what the documents we gave the contractor to say, you shouldn't expect to find any sludge in it because it's a secondary lagoon. It all should fall out in the first lagoon, Lagoon A. So when he got there though, he found 4 to 6 inches of sludge in Lagoon B. And so it was wintertime, it was January, February. And so he stockpiled that material in the borrow pit on the construction easement. Should he have done that? I don't think so. I told him that's something that we don't, there's a process taking care of that. And that was when I was at Benish, right? And I said, there's a process to taking care of that. But at the same time, he has a deadline with liquidated damages. And we had, as a town, a consent agreement from the state that says it has to be completed by a certain date. And so the agreement that was made by DNR with the town was that they look at that as a stockpile that needs to be land applied within 2 years from when it was created. And that they could close out the lagoon expansion project and waive all the fines that were accumulated over the years of not doing the job. So that's the background. So the town has a stockpile there on the east side of the lagoons on Negavar's property. Now, the stockpile of what? It's biosolids that needs to be land applied at a specific rate. What I was told by the biosolids division is that the reason that it's a big issue for Hermosa is because Hermosa's on EPA's naughty list for being on a consent agreement. And so there's no flexibility there in terms of it needs to be done at a rate, the rate needs to be calculated. And so instead of it being on an acre and a half or whatever, it needs to be over 12 acres because it has a certain amount of phosphorus and nitrogen, things that a plant needs, that a growing plant needs, but not things that are sitting there. They want that nutrients to be spread over a bigger area. And so the Sun Grant, the previous board had pledged $8,000 for cost sharing towards the Sun Grant, which is an annual thing. It can be applied to every year through SDSU. And so this year they had applied and they didn't get it for this year. But that means that if they do something to improve their application, if they continue showing that it needed to be done, right? Because you wrote in your application, this needs to be done, right? So then if you don't do anything, it's like, why did you say you needed the grant, right? And so the $8,000 was to land apply a portion of, the stockpile so that the DNR can see something is done this year and the remainder would need to be addressed next year. And that's where it was left off as of the beginning of June.
So this isn't even
Mark and
final action.
no,
So there's still more to be done.
it'll be 2,000 cubic yards left.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say, let's think on this. Yeah, let's not. We did not approve this action. There,
That's your
yep, there's no action to support this payment, this work. Can anybody find an action in the history of the board directing or approving a quote, directing this work to be done, aside from the grant, which was also a share?
What was the email that I had Terry forward to everybody that Cal had signed on this biosolids? I can't. I wish I had a copy of it right now.
With no board action to support that?
I don't remember it ever being brought up.
Well, I have.
Yes, you are, you laugh, that's fine.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I do think that we have some documentation to back up what Anthony was saying. I know we have that letter that was signed about the biosolids. Seems like there's some other things too. And this is really a favor to the town. I didn't realize that it was a construction easement, so that's a good development as far as getting this paid. But
So with things like that, just like, so we've had times where, actually, well, I guess, interestingly enough, the Sun Grant, when we had the special meeting about the Sun Grant.
yeah, I wasn't on the board.
We were given a strong impression that this was essentially something we really had to do, and if we didn't, we were gonna get in trouble or have to pay or something. It was made to seem as if there was absolutely necessary. It was made to seem that there was documentation, including emails supporting how absolutely necessary it was, and all that would be shared with the board. I don't recall that ever happening, but I think even the motion related to the grant was done under the impression that there was documentation out there to support it that was never received. So it was pointed out that there's a construction easement. All right, I want to see it.
Sounds like
we do need to see if
take-
there's anything at all supporting this. I want to see, I would like to see any permits, with the county's, planning commission, because this is digging and grading work essentially both times, right? There was digging and grading work to put it in to create the hole, digging and grading to put this back in the hole, digging and grading now to remove it and spread it out. And as far as I'm aware, I've never seen anything saying that the town, got all this stuff done with the county that makes all this above the bar. And it's also all floodplain. The entire lagoon system is right in the floodplain. And I don't remember seeing any Lomars or anything else. So I think there's a lot of documentation that's
Sounds like it.
a lot.
Are you done?
Mhm.
Okay. So I'm at a loss of words from everything that you just said. But my thought is that biosolids we have to do something with them. We have to dispose of them in a certain way. So, I think this saves us money, because otherwise wouldn't we have to truck it out somewhere where they would dispose of it for us?
I don't know. We never had those conversations. The choice of how to handle this was never really given to the board. I don't recall the board ever having a discussion about what we do about this. Mr. James?
I just want to make sure, question for Mr. Theodoro. Anthony, is it true that, is it essentially right that this stuff was put in the wrong place without the landowner's permission? Is that true or not?
Not true.
What's that?
It's not true.
So it was not put on the landowner's, it was not put on his land
No, it was put on his land with his permission.
with his permission?
In the sense of they had a construction easement, not specifically.
Nope, they've been a part of the process up until June.
So he gave the town verbal permission, written permission? What was the nature of the permission that granted the dumping on his land?
The dumping on the land was a part of the construction, easement, which had a duration to it. And it was to be restored before it was handed back over to the landowner. Now, when there was a stockpile there, it was determined that they would plant sunflowers, and Mark does the planting and Greg does other aspects of the farm. And both Greg and Mark were there when the town signed a commitment letter saying that they would set, and yeah, there's a signed commitment letter, and it describes accurately exactly what the in-kind match source is. The cost to remove 4,000 cubic yards of biosolids stockpile east of the town's lagoons on a 1 acre site and spread on the 12 acre project site within the vicinity of the town of Hermosa. And maps were provided to Mark and Greg that they approved. And I even had some emails, or Greg had sent some emails, I believe. But primarily it was them verbally and out on site saying, coordination of they'll plant sunflowers there, because that was what the Sun Grant was about, was studying the plant as it uptakes the nutrients and determining at what part of the plant different parts of the nutrients go.
Yeah, I remember that when that was.
Yeah. So now that's where it was left. Now, obviously, the new board wants to take a different direction with how they address the stockpiles. That's the prerogative of the new board. If they want me to help them, they have to ask me to help them to do it, because it's not something that I really have any contract to do. So that's why I replied back to the A&R after the new board change, that it seems there may be a new direction they want to take with it. Maybe they want to go after the contractors, bonding or whatever, because there's also the issue of grass eating, that we raised at the time of closing of the construction, that if the grass didn't come up and didn't take root, that it would be his responsibility, and he agreed to that. He was here, and he agreed to that. And so anything, you got to take advantage of that warranty window on anything that you want to do with that bond.
So my
That's
understanding.
the direction you want to take that just got to say that's what.
So just to wrap it up then, you're saying that they gave us permission verbally to put that material on the land. Was it in the meeting or was it just at the site?
Sorry.
Okay, who was it this?
Mark and Greg Negabar.
Mark, okay. And So it's not an interpretation that this was allowed in the construction easement you're referring to.
Construction easement would allow you to do that.
Okay. Is that recorded?
Mhm.
Okay. All right.
Here, you
That's
should
all.
have a copy of it.
That's all I have.
Yeah, my impression is that the landowners really didn't get into the circuit of communication until after I guess the issues essentially were discovered with it, with the change order, with other things, that they were not initially aware of this being dug. Maybe that construction easement granted, that's the document of magic. Maybe that granted permission without necessarily being specific enough to that action of putting that dirt there, but at the same time, we know that DNR said it was no good. Yeah, we need more documentation on this. I guess we should table this for a period of time.
I'll find that. It was called the commitment letter from, signed by Cal.
I recall doing the commitment letter associated with the Sun Grant, but the Sun Grant's been denied.
Yeah.
And we're not gonna pay for work based on a grant that we were already denied for, because there may be a possibility I might get it later, right? I mean, that's,
Mm, mm. Okay.
let's count the chickens, not like after they're hatched, right? I like it. Well, that's my thoughts. Anybody else? Motions, anything?
Yeah.
I make a motion that we table this until we have any information.
Okay,
I'll second.
motion made, seconded, further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
All right, motion passed. Okay, well, definitely sounds like there's more information out there that we can have, and now we're aware of it, so that's good. Step in the right direction. Approve rescheduling of this July 6th, 2026 special meeting to July 20. I don't think we need an action on this because I don't think action was taken to schedule it initially, but I think noting on the record maybe at this time that it's been rescheduled would be sufficient. Does that sound fair? Barry, if you just want to note it in the minutes and we'll call that one good.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to go ahead and.
All set?
Yeah, I think that's all the legal topics I can see.
All righty.
Thank you.
Have a good night, Scott. Thank you. All right. Approve replacements of remaining residential booster pumps. 6 remaining, tabled from 4/28 meeting. I'm gonna go ahead and maybe this is, yeah, I'll just make this one. I would
I'd
make a
like to
motion to
make a comment.
dismiss this agenda item.
I'd like to make a comment though,
Okay.
concerning this.
Okay. I got the motion made. If anybody wants to make a second, let me.
I'll second it for comment.
All right. Good to go, Mason. Go ahead, Ms. Trustee Fritz.
Well, Mr. Halsworth made the statement at the last meeting that maybe the person that installed these booster pumps should be liable for replacing them. That is not the situation. The booster pumps was defective. The company that made them admitted that they were defective, so I don't see how you can make the statement that whoever installed them should have to put them in, because it was not the installer's fault.
I agree with Trustee Ferguson. I went out and looked at one. The installation was fine. It's just a piece of junk. I did ask the contractor to look at some improvements that will help against future junk pumps, but that's not really the initial contractor's responsibility. He did
Yeah.
what he was asked to do.
Installed them.
Yeah.
Not knowing. Yeah.
But yeah, that's so motion made. Motion's on the floor to dismiss. Anybody? Trustee Kramer?
The booster pumps, if we're doing this quickly with the new, we don't need to do this.
That's the goal, is to get rid of them.
So let's try to get that done and eliminate this totally.
Yeah, and if we do
So-
have one go bad in the meantime, then we have to address it. I mean, we do what we gotta do, but this, I think the goal here was a blanket replacement of all that haven't already been changed regardless of their state.
Correct. That's how I would take it also, and I would like this just to be removed and in hopes that we get this other situation taken care of quickly, as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody sounds like a plan. All right, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of tabling or of dismissing 10D essentially? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, dismissed.
Thank you.
Okay, discuss new area to get bulk water from Trustee Kramer, I'll let you have this one, because otherwise I'll ramble on forever.
You will anyway. However, you and I have discussed this about possibilities of where to put a new station. And we discussed the fact of on the bottom of the hill, below the tank. My concern with that is that the DOT would not allow us to put another driveway in here. I can't imagine that they are gonna want that close to Highway 79. Too much traffic. I mean, I think it's compared to where our well is and compared to where the water could be, I think it's a great place. I just don't think that there's any way that the DOT will allow that to happen.
You're talking about is it a separate driveway independent from Tower Road, or the parking space attached to Tower Road? Because my thoughts wasn't anything new on the county highway. My thoughts.
I don't know how you can make an area big enough without having another driveway there or a larger driveway there. And I mean, I don't know, maybe a quick call to the DOT would be worth it, and that would just answer the questions right off the bat. But like I said, they wouldn't even let us put another one right here.
Well, and also it's awful close to the intersection.
That's what I meant. The intersection to Highway 79 is,
I don't think it's, my personal feelings, it wouldn't be feasible. I think it would block traffic more than anything.
I think we need to come up, like I said, call DOT. Terry, if you would please call Bruce at DOT, I would really appreciate that. And that will eliminate any further discussion on this until we get that handled.
Okay. Well, as far as where it would be, but I think we all agree that there's benefit to have a proper bulk.
Yeah, oh gosh, yes, absolutely.
Coming off not necessarily where we're going to put the place where the trucks hook up to, the idea of using that underground tank that is otherwise a weird mountain that nobody understands as a place to just put bulk water. That, I think, where we end up wanting to put the place that line runs to seems like that's going to need more discussion. But in the meantime, in the interim, in order to get to where we can even do that, the tank needs a fresh inspection. We need to make sure that the valving and everything that should be there, according to the last drawings I see, linking the north well to the bulk tank is still ready to rock and roll. And the big thing is that we already talked about the new treatment. I hate the idea of us putting $1 towards treatment if we haven't gotten that well, given that well a chance to demonstrate that it can walk and stretch its legs a little bit. Run that north well into that underground tank if we can. Run that into that underground tank and get it to walk. Fill a 33,000 gallon tank 5 times before we decide we're going to spend $500,000 treating it. If we get that tank fired or that well fired up and it doesn't give us the volume we were thinking it was going to give us because it's been sitting. It fired up once or twice, but it's been sitting for 12 years, almost 13 years.
I think it's been opened up since that time, but I mean, it does need to be tested.
Give us 5 33,000 gallon tanks and fill them fast, or maybe us throwing $500,000 treating that well maybe doesn't turn out to be all that great of an idea. But we need to get that well's life. And I say this because it sounds like it really is just a matter of firing it up and opening some valves once we know the tank can hold water, and getting that well walking before we ask it to run a marathon for the next 25 years. Yeah. But yeah, John was going to talk to the divers while they're out here, just to take a peek in that tank using their expertise and give us their thoughts on that in-ground tank.
You're gonna give a report to you, they're gonna $600. Tell them that.
$600 to know whether 33,000. Is everybody good with that? We can attach it to the Midco agenda item that's coming up.
Yep.
And then we'll know for sure. Can the thing hold water? Can it be used? Can it be sold? And in the interim, I don't know if so there's that drain line, the westmost drain line.
Okay.
That's plumbed directly to that tank. Okay. Not directly. That's valved to that tank. I'm fairly certain. and it was already set up to essentially attach a hose to it.
Yeah, I think there's a holes there, I think we
Just, that's just kind of laying out going towards the highway. I mean, if we get that tank full and somebody needs bulk water, can we hose them as we drain that tank down? I mean, is there something temporary that we can do to where we can get some cycles through that tank?
Mhm.
So it was a mute point before when we were talking about a Madison well, but now that we're talking about our, living on our existing wells, we need to talk about each permit we have, because we have 3 permits. We have one from the 1800s, we have one from the 90s, and then we have the one from the early 2000s. And so that's kind of a discussion you would want to have with DANR about those permits, because technically speaking, down at the Battle Creek, we have 2 wells. The second one is from the 1800s, but it's still got a permit associated with it, with a permit number and it's active. And, that also, you look at the volumes, the CFF, the acre feet of water per year, they've allocated for each one of those. Because we're gonna live off those, so we gotta be able to make that all clean in the ANR to get what we wanna get out of it. Instead of, just doing it and then recording, 'cause you have to annually report, and then they're gonna be like, what are you doing? You should have come to us and gone through that. It was kind of a mute point before, because it was more like backup, but now that's it, so we need to, I just wanted to throw that out there.
Talk to the DANR about it first.
Yeah, it's the person that does the annual reporting, Rachel. It's the water rights department. Yeah.
So we'll run all this by them, because really 150,000 gallons comes out of that well, and everything pans out and it looks good. So we basically need to say, hey, DNR, can we run 150,000 gallons out of this well so we can test this test this well?
They'll give you a test. They'll allow you to test. It's then when you want to enshrine that in the water rights. There's a process.
Very good.
Cool. Thanks.
So we'll can get an eye on that tank. Valving's there. Hopefully it works. Hopefully, and we can run water, and hopefully we can get that discharge line converted into a pseudo. We can fill a truck with it line, so that once we have 33 gallons of water, somebody will be able to haul it away, and maybe give us a little bit of money. Okay. Any more on this from you?
Has there been any, calls about anybody needing water lately? I mean, we shut off the 2 that we had, and I think that the one is done
I think
anyway.
they were still on the asphalt.
Yeah, the asphalt crew is done. What about, and they're probably, what they need for the electric company is a little here, a little there. I don't think
Yeah.
that's any concern, but has there
I
been
haven't gotten any new.
no other calls? Okay.
I did see somebody getting water today.
Where? And who was it?
I don't know.
I don't know. How big a truck?
White truck? It's a white truck.
They have a white one now. Black is electric.
Black Hills Electric has a white
They have
truck.
a white one and a yellow. Let's see.
And there's is a direct fill of the tank, because the one they use at the fairgrounds is a drop in. It's air gap. They just they fill by a pipe. Over top of the tank just drops in. If we have, even if it's a 6-inch hose, we can run it down and flip it over the side of their tank and be like, here's some water. Hey, can you take it away from us? And it would be untreated, and that's the key, right? We don't need any discharge permits or anything for untreated water out of a well.
Well, I don't believe so.
We'll verify that when we ask them if we can run 100,000 gallons. That sounds like a way to do it. All right. But they have a truck that we can just dump water in through the top. I don't know how much it holds, or where they want to take it. Maybe they just want to go irrigate something across the highway, and they'll be like, oh, thanks for some water. But we'll figure out a way.
We could water our own lot down in Ferguson if it's dry. I mean, that would probably be 1 truckload, depending on the size of the truck.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we could, as dry as it is, we could water, a lot of different right of ways or.
Do we have anybody with a truck set up to water?
Truck that could take water.
That set up to water,
To water.
to dust spray, to spray lawns, because I know of one.
Well, the fairgrounds needs water every week, week.
Heartland RV, they have a tank that they use to spray down their roads, and also they have it plumbed so that they can pseudo water their lines with it.
I wouldn't mind the roads getting dampened down a little bit with these high winds and, you know.
Yeah, he does it regular. That's their dust. They don't mag chloride. They just extract.
Just a thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. We good on areas for bulk water for now? Kind of come up with some notes. Appointment and oath of office of Elmer Claycomb. We still tabling this?
Yes, please.
Table.
Thank you.
All right. Appointment and oath of office of Anthony Theodoro. I guess the elephant in the room. Do we want to do this?
No.
No.
I think that it's something that as long as all these investigations are going on, I think it's best just to table it till those are over.
Table.
I'd just like to remove it.
Remove it, okay. Till we need it, or unless we,
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
There's some nuance to this though. There is nuance that I wanted to get into more. Wasn't really given the opportunity. There's nuance with what it means to be an officer versus a contractor, right?
yeah,
There's authority granted to an officer that cannot be exercised by a contractor.
yeah.
So what you're saying is it's the actual oath of office that you are,
No, if this is it's
doesn't matter who it's to.
Do we even need a town engineer? It seems
well,
I mean, we have Neil who does a great job for planning.
we kind of there's stuff in the ordinances that essentially grants unilateral authority to the town engineer. So it's identified as an officer within our ordinances. A person who can make decisions without having to get a board approval can only be an officer. Terry, Scott, you know.
But they get paid. Would a town engineer
So
get
the
paid?
town engineer's compensation must be established through ordinance, resolution, or contract. That's
Oh, yeah.
right. So they can be a contractor, but not a officer.
Yeah,
If they're an officer, they can be paid either by resolution, ordinance, or contract.
right. Gotcha.
So
Yes, we pay Terry by resolution.
right. She's included in our and that's what it essentially, and it's the same with the attorney. There's the stuff in there too, where we're kind of in a weird limbo, which is part of why we only have Scott do stuff with board actions, is because we're kind of in the limbo where if there's no resolution or ordinance establishing the rates, then it can't be. Yeah. All right. Table motion. Anybody move? Yeah.
About me.
Thank you, Anthony.
So, I asked Terry to send what Neil and I had done before for town planner and town engineer. So we could see what we had agreed, we had pledged and signed. I have copies of that, and it's basically identical to the document that is in the package for discussion now. So, I mean, I think if we did that, we did it for the town. I mean, it didn't really matter who was on the board. And then everything that we're doing is stipulated under our contracts, our scope, fees, how we're compensated for our time. In our understanding, when we took those oaths, is it was ceremonial in nature. And we kind of expressed that when it was brought up. I think it started to get brought up like about November or whatever last year. So, but with this board having maybe a different opinion about it and having nuance, and it gives authority, maybe we need to spell that out, because if that's something we didn't understand, but you have a different understanding of, then we just need to spell out what that is and decide is that something we want to do or not, right? Because I think if it's something where I think I'm doing something and somebody else thinks I'm doing something else, it's not a good idea to do. And I also advise Neil in that capacity, and that's why he hasn't signed it. because I was gone. So neither of us, have actually done that and, executed it. If it comes to an issue of the town needs to have, this appointed official, that's the town engineer, and appointed official, that's the town planner. But then that nuance would impact our contracts. The stance of ATAC is that we'll prefer our contracts. And so that's the decision we would make.
Thank you.
So I guess, to add a little bit more to that nuance, because it is nuanced, but like staff reports are kind of a good example to look at. So recommendations, engineer comments, recommendations. This is essentially, the oath of office that crosses us into the territory of I'm ethically bound to, in all situations, no matter what, always put the town's interests before anyone, and including my own. That's it. You're an officer, you self-sacrifice when absolutely necessary in order to make sure the right thing is done. And well, that may seem like a strange thing, but for like Scott, he has to call us out when we're, and he does call us out when we're going off the rails, even if his opinions that kind of got him sidelined. There's the elephant in the room. He kind of got sidelined because he gave some opinions that were not agreed upon by. But he's an officer. He's bound by his oath to do what he believes is ethically correct, even if it means he could lose his job. Terry has to. Terry's probably been in positions where she felt like maybe her job was, looked at. But she does the right thing. That's the difference. And that's it. And and then comes with that certain authorities, and the ordinances statute spells out Terry's authority, spells it all out. Statutes are kind of general on engineer, but our ordinances give some direct powers. So do we need somebody who can execute those powers? Because if they're not an officer, they can't. Approvals, things like this, like a staff report coming from officers means these people are looking out 100% for the best interests of the town. You have to take this staff report as if it was a written opinion from an attorney, if they're an officer. If not, it's
That, so sorry, that doesn't, when it comes to engineering law, our professional engineering license is what gives us that authority. And the oaths that we took when we were taking as a professional engineer in the state, was to protect the property and life of the citizens of South Dakota. So we already have that in our oath. The town is part of South Dakota, so it would fall under that same umbrella. So that's how it works with engineering. With planning, it's not as rigid. Certified public planners have oaths. I'm not as familiar with their oaths, but I'm sure it's also to protect the interests of municipalities. I have to look into that. So it's kind of like, how many oaths do you take, and does the one oath then conflict with the other oath? And I mean, it can get really, almost like the oaths are negating one another and everything. You kind of got to be careful with that. But ultimately, what matters is our engineering license. And then the rest of it kind of is more cool, localized, parochial, not necessarily, universally accepted even throughout the state.
all right. Did we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we table this until table for further review. Because I kind of want to look up what our ordinances say now. I didn't realize.
I think
It's been a couple
like
of years since I read the ordinances.
16 times or something engineers mentioned. That's like, you look at the cover sheet and it says, oh, well, these are our officers. Okay, so Jerry Stiles is still an officer in Hermosa because our ordinance cover says that. That's not where you go to find out if somebody's an officer or not. You go into the meat and potatoes of the ordinances. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Motion to table.
A second.
Motion made and seconded. Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Nine.
Tabled. Discussion on background checks for contractors. Does anybody still want to pursue this, or do we want to get rid of it or throw it a ways down the? Or do we have anything really that we've accomplished regarding this since the last meeting?
It's not my thing. I don't know. I mean, I'm totally fine with having something that says we do background checks. I thought we already did. But maybe that was just for employees.
Required for employees.
Do other towns, cities do this?
Good question.
I think some do, some.
Just
really
some?
do. I don't think most contractors would have an issue with it, you know, some do, some won't. How you guys' opinion on it?
Yeah, so just to add to that, so sometimes John's asked to go into people's houses to inspect something.
Yeah.
Like the boosters, like, no.
Tax.
Tax testing. And, so that in those instances, it gives, I'm sure, a level of assurance to the residents that the person going in has been vetted by the town.
That's probably a good point to think about for the board is if you have, you know, whoever you contract out to. Probably some phrase
Yeah.
to think about.
So I
Had
think
that
we're kind of narrowing the scope to
Mm.
background checks for contractors who may be entering private property on behalf of the town.
Or near the school or all kinds of things, really, actually. So maybe just
And proximity.
have it for all contractors.
And the question is,
And
well,
it-
we don't get them done for free, do we?
No.
No, we have to pay for them, but we're also contracting their work, so you can have them pay for it too, instead of us.
What I kind of like, and this is something we've mentioned in passing before, is I kind of like the idea of us getting together that list of these are our contractors. This is the list of phone calls you make when something goes terribly wrong in the middle of the night. This is your list of, and I suppose if we were going to go down the route of an expense associated with additional expense associated with hiring contractors, we would also need to want to be working on doing that list. But, and this is where you're going to get into the weeds, it's not just, all right, contractor, whatever, Joe Schmo owns whatever, dig holes for free or whatever he calls his company. All right, it's not just him, it's him and everybody subordinate to him. We're talking about a cascade of background checks through every single contractor that
I
you
think,
can't not do that. If you do just the guy who runs the
Yeah.
company, you're just blowing smoke.
You can have,
no, because it's the company owner's responsibility.
That's a gray area that's not worth even looking at. If you're gonna say any contractor, it has to be contractors and all their subordinates. Otherwise, you're chasing your tail.
or you could say that we only hire contractors that submit to a background check or have their employees submit to a background.
It would have to be. You can't just do it just the contractor. That would not. It. You may trust the guy who owns the company. Doesn't mean the guy who's gonna go in, like John said, into somebody's house and look at their plumbing. You can't say for certain that the contractor did the due diligence with them that you're doing with the contractor. It's got to be an individual person basis. Otherwise, it's fruitless.
That is, I agree, because it is a little hard, because as a contractor, you could be subbing out, or you could have employees, and,
Yeah.
you know, that is a little difficult hill to climb on some of this.
And at that point, we're essentially talking about some kind of identification card that the town issues once this has been done. So basically, everybody in town knows if they don't have one of those and they try to come in my house, call the sheriff.
Well, that's what you want.
That's where we're going. And
I guess I confused the contractors with the next one down with the operators and workers, so, background checks for the operators and workers, that makes sense, because they're working, they're kind of the representative of the town water and sewer department, right? Versus these contractors that come in to do the work, they should be being supervised by that operator or shift operator, because somebody needs to be responsible for them to close up a hole follow OSHA or, because the town's hoping that that's the person's taking care of things.
Yeah.
I thought that was the case. And what I was gonna say about the cost is typically the employer covers a background check, the employee submits to it. But then the next one down talks about vests and vehicle signage. ATAC would take care of that if you guys wanted help for those things. We would pay for them and have them. And that's our responsibility to have signage.
I don't know if this is discussion anyway, whenever everybody feels like they're, trustee Kramer.
Something in my memory tells me that when the the new school was being built, we had this issue come up. About some of their employees. And is there anybody in the room that remembers any of that? Deb, Dan?
I think that the school has an ordinance where they can't meet on certain individuals, can't be on their property.
I think it was a part of the contract with the school and the county that their contractors had nobody that would not pass the background check. And I can see that on school property and, around children. The issue we have here is that, I mean, the school is right there. I mean, it's, we're a small community. I don't know how far out you have to go from that. But I also agree that anybody that goes into a home needs to have somebody with them or that card or that blessing identification from the town, whatever. Other than that, I would say that the recommendation should be, if somebody calls up to the town office and says, who do you have or who do you think should do my plumbing for me? And at that point, we could have a list that says, these folks have paid for their licensing to do work in the city of Hermosa. And we've not had any complaints about them or something like that. I mean, I continually hear about the fact that it's hard to get builders in Hermosa because we have too many requirements. Okay, here's gonna be another one of these issues. So
It's the ordinances that drive them nuts.
Whatever, the rules, regulations, ordinances, it all kind of boils down to the same thing with time and their time and wanting to do the work. So I think that we need to think about that, or again, this is a long discussion, and I realize that there's a lot of long discussions to be had, but I'm getting less and less willing to sit here until 11 o'clock at night.
Same.
So,
All right, any other quick comments on this one? We can, feel like we should kick this out a little ways.
okay.
We already did one first weekend of September. Our first meeting in October.
Our first meeting in November.
We can just, we can spread it out. Sure. Spread it out.
Game for that.
Motion to table this till the first meeting in October. Item 10H. I'll make that motion. Anybody want a second?
Sure.
Motion made and seconded. Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Discuss identifiable vests and vehicle signage for operators and workers.
Well, we need to have what that really looks like. We need to have, do we want it to just say Hermosa contractor, Hermosa
Public Works,
public works?
Hermosa. Mhm.
And for something like this, it has to be town
Town.
overseen, town administered.
Telling her almost on them.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
So essentially, people come in and say, "Hey, I'm doing some contract work for the
Terry,
town," and she says, "All right, well, here's your magnet. Stick it on. Here's your vest. Bring it back when you're done."
so we just need somebody to create what it looks like and then we need to approve it, right?
Sign does it, doesn't it? Cause you never do that.
Connie,
I've already been seeing people wearing them, so. The gal that does the water meter, she's been wearing one.
Well, always, I gave her
that's
that
been
one.
there. That's been kicking around forever.
It's John's crew or whatever, they were working and I saw them wearing them. So I think, does it necessarily have to have special writing on it? I think if
Well-
a utility worker, if they're working in the manholes or whatever, you pretty much know what they're doing, they're digging up a sewer line or.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is what it is.
I mean, I think the ID card was.
Mhm.
I think that's the long term, essentially.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You know, anybody working for the town, if they're claiming to be working from the town and they can't show you that, then
The badge.
Mhm.
and the town.
So implementing that is gonna take how long?
Cheap.
Well, we kicked that down with the background checks, but you know, it'd be cheap. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's just put a date on it then.
Should we revisit that again with the background checks thing? Because I kind of feel
Sure.
like they're tied.
Sure, works for me.
First meeting in October.
Okay, good job.
Motion to table that.
Jay,
Told them.
Motion to table I to first weekend in October.
But it was.
it was October.
All right. Hey, I'll make the motion. Anybody want a second? All righty. Motion made and seconded. Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
I thank you.
Table review and make recommendations for harassment letter. Yeah. Anybody want to start this conversation?
What is it? What is it? What is it about?
I'll make the motion that we have the harassment letter on file if needed for board members or employees.
Motion made. Do we have a second?
Sure.
Motion made and seconded. Anybody want to open a discussion? Okay, where are we at? We got, this is, do I have it in here still?
Yeah.
Yep, there it is, sorry. Any person who intentionally obstructs or attempts to obstruct the public. So, on file for the town employee or a board member to send, so we definitely could never have anything issued unless there's a board action, right? That would be,
Right.
I don't know if Scott has been directed at any time to put his 2 cents in.
Oh, he should be.
It's for the October on this one too.
Nah, let's just have him look at it. When he's got time and he can do it, then he'll bring it to the board under his legal department.
All right, we have a motion on the floor. Do we,
Make amendment to the motion upon approval from Scott or?
I don't know if you want
Upon approval, I make the amendment that it be upon approval from Scott after he reviews the letter.
motion made, any second?
Sure, I'll second it.
All right, made and seconded, further discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3 ayes, any abstain, or any nay? Abstain, I'm abstaining too, I'm just not invested enough, honestly.
Okay.
But it did pass, so we got the main motion on the floor, any further discussion on the amended motion? Let me think. Okay, so Scott obviously needs to review this. I don't want to spend a lot of money on a real long week,
It shouldn't take him long, should it?
but yeah. I would I wouldn't say I could support approving this once he reviews it and says it's okay, because I still feel like even if he says technically you can do that, because in his defense, he will have parts where he says, well, that's policy, so you guys need to be deciding that, not me. It's legal policy decision whether you do it or not. I don't like it. I really don't. And I don't like it simply because we put ourselves in this position. It's different for the office staff, but we put ourselves in this position to be under scrutiny. Kind of a part of the par for the course. We need to be under scrutiny. I feel like something like this says we're not welcoming scrutiny anymore. If you scrutinize us, we're going to send you a letter and threaten you with. Because most people receive something like this, I think, and it would be very uncomfortable. I don't like it. I don't know. I think it's a bit too much. I think the way we have it now, where things are kind of case by case basis with complaints, I feel like that's as far as we need to go. Personally, I feel like if we get to where it's more like hammer ready to be swung, which I got rid of the one that was in here. Yeah, my thoughts. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and say, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
2 ayes. All those opposed?
Name.
Nay. Yeah, I think, I don't know, any other motions associated with this that anybody wants to make at this time?
I just would like to say this, there's a big difference between scrutinizing and harassing. A very big difference.
And who's all right? So all right, I'm not the attorney, so I'm not saying this as a town attorney, but my understanding of harassment, it says it in there, right? It gives you the definition. It has to be without purpose. Is a key, right? It has to be essentially no reason for doing it. So calling somebody names, yeah, that could be harassment. Yeah, that happens in here sometimes. It happens all over town.
It happens in meetings.
It happens in meetings. People get passionate. They do. I mean, I remember drafting a letter. Part of it was avoid us getting slammed in the face with a civil rights lawsuit, but I wrote it anyway. Yeah, I just feel like. Anyway.
All right, let's move forward then. We've already voted on it.
So what do we do?
Well, generally speaking, when things don't pass, they get just taken off the agenda. And if somebody else wants to propose something else, then it'll be put on the agenda when they propose it.
Okay,
Thank you.
sounds good. What dropped? Approved meeting agenda policy. I've got really no much more opinion on this. I wrote it. Just kind of looking for an alternative. I did get some feedback that it may be a bit lengthy. Can't disagree with that.
I think it would be nice to have action items listed because sometimes actions don't get taken on things that we decide. So having a section where we note what the action items are before the next meeting would be nice and helpful. Just a thought.
Action items. All right, so here's kind of a thought. Here's maybe a thought for a tweak to kind of how I had this. So action items, new business, old business, need to be action items. Discussions, maybe those are appropriate branched out to the departments. But the point is to make sure all the actions
Get completed.
before we go on our long drawn out
Mhm.
boring stuff area. So maybe discussions should fall into the departments. So when you look at new business, old business, you know, these are the action items. If something's just discussion, it'll be under the department.
Well, sometimes we have actions under Department 2, but I mean, we can try it.
Well, that's kind of that's my thoughts is that you shouldn't. They should be like the departments should be really mostly updates, maybe some discussion, but it shouldn't be action items spread out all over the agenda. I think that's caused.
Well, let's give it a try.
Yeah, so we'll start moving discussion items to the departments that are they're relevant to, and make sure new business, old business of all their action items.
Try that.
See how that works?
Okay, good. Next.
Logo. Oh, yeah, TV plugged in. Is it on a desktop?
Yeah, for
Meeting docs here. I can't see. Oh, you got a touch screen. Yeah. Oh. Is it the bottom? Very bottom? Okay.
You gotta change the name.
Keep on it. There we go. That should do it.
There. Oh, maybe it's off to the other direction. Mirrored? Is it mirrored?
Didn't find another spot.
Who said that? Yeah, can we just table this?
Do you want to talk about it?
Well, it's mostly your thing. You said a couple thoughts.
I have a couple things I'd like to say. Can I just say it?
Yeah.
You're speaking about the town of Hermosa, and I definitely agree that the train needed to be in there. And the cows need to be in there, and you know, the hay needs to be in there, whatever, hills. But I don't think it does anything to make people want to come to Hermosa and see Hermosa. That being said, we are a town of very few things to promote at this particular time. But that does not show a town. It shows the country. And although we are a small town in the country environment,
The other one.
it doesn't show, I don't know, to me, a logo should say something like, um, okay, I'm just gonna say Hill Cities is Heart of the Hills. Keystones is Mount Rushmore, something. I don't think this does anything to bring people to town, and I think we need more discussion on it and more thought process. And I like the picture, I like the sun, I like the hills, I like the cows, and I like the train, but I still don't think it does anything to promote the town. So I think we need to go back to the drawing board, and maybe we need to come up with a slogan for our own town that we can work around. And on that, I'd like to table this until further notice. Please, thank you.
I think that sounds great. I think we could table it. We could all, you know, because we had talked about having a competition in town. We
Yes.
talked about all these things, so it's just a matter of having it in
Well, we
our
did have a
minds.
competition,
Yes, 2 years ago, we had a competition and one was approved at that time. But that,
use that logo.
I'm not saying that that's the perfect logo either. Because if you're trying to promote the town, you gotta have something to promote it with. So, My opinion, I'm just stating.
You making a motion at table?
Yes, I am.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. Yeah, I think it's really cool, but this is just not something I'm gonna have too much to say on, other than before we start promoting the town, we need something people can do when they get here.
Well, this is,
Economic development is going to be brought back.
years,
You know, I mean, we're proud to live in Hermosa, right? You know, we don't have anything that has Hermosa on it.
Merch sounds good. Eric can sell merch. That's what the kids call it. Merchandise merch.
I think at one time, I think it was for the anniversary or whatever, but I mean, we need a slogan. And the only thing I could come up with even at that time was you can get anywhere from here. I mean, we're close to the reservation, we're close to fishing, we're close to hunting, we're close to Mount Rushmore, we're close to shopping, we're close to the prairie, we're close to rock hunting, we're close to hunting, fishing. You can get anywhere from here. And cross, whatever, something like that. We don't even have a motel for these people to stay at that we're trying to get. So I just think that this needs to be tabled and moved down the line a while. I don't know.
November, first meeting in November.
Okay, what I think this one can be delayed even further than that. If something more important comes up. I think this is this is something I think everybody, including the citizens, can put a lot of thought into and see if they can come up with anything either. I just think we can take time on this. It's not like a hugely important issue that needs to be handled right at the moment, and it's 9 o'clock.
Good. Table till November.
I appreciate
Alright,
the work.
I'm sorry, but
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye, thank you.
Okay, new business. Approved
Thank you.
hire of Midco divers to remove sediment and patch water tank. They're coming tomorrow, so I think we should probably go ahead and get a motion to approve so that
I'd make the motion to approve this item.
motion made and seconded. Any further discussion on this one? With the, yes,
With the addition of the inspection of the underground tank.
who made the motion?
Linda.
I did.
You did? Who seconded?
I know.
Your first and second both agree that
Yes.
Yes.
necessary? All right,
Yeah.
then it's your motion.
Thank
All right, so motion on the floor is to approve hire of Midco with the additional 600 to check the in-ground tank as well. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approve required inspections for serviceability of underground
So that's
water
that one.
tank has been addressed by the previous item.
Mhm.
So, with discussion of survey of water tower hill.
Well, I've had a few people say that they feel like that tank is leaning a
Yep.
little. And so I wanted us to have the survey done.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Yeah, I'm sure.
No, I watched water try to run uphill to get from one side of the tank to the other. That's not good.
But we should compare it to our previous surveys. So that's why I'm asking for that. I think it would cost about $5,000 to have that survey officially done. So, I can get some quotes.
Should we wait till everything's
Yeah.
fully dry?
That's exactly my
And
thought.
that's gonna
Should we
take
wait till
time.
what there's dry? Do we need a survey on while it's still wet? If they feel this
Yeah,
leak
'cause it
tomorrow, it
could
could be
still-
dry next week. So I just wouldn't want to approve a survey and have them go out while there's wet dirt if it's still settling.
Because it's not gonna be a good survey.
Well, then,
Linda, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I'm sorry. I still have this issue with it. If it's leaning, there's a lot of weight on that. And I mean, is it gonna lean an inch more every day? The sooner we get this done, I'm sorry. It just seems like something that should be pretty important.
You're talking about
Dry.
we're talking about the same tank, right? This leak has been coming and going for 4 years.
So, yeah, but it wasn't leaning until now.
We don't know that.
We don't
Well-
know anything about that.
Well, nobody said anything about it leaning before, that they could notice that it looked.
Now that we essentially created a surface that
Mhm.
water can sit on continuously, and it's deeper on one end than the other, it's leaning. I would say east side is probably 2 inch and a half, maybe 2 inches lower than the west side. It's not crazy. It's not going to fall over
That's how
tomorrow.
it should be. I know, but if that falls over, you guys, you know what, I mean,
A survey is not going to change whether or not it's going to.
no, the survey will tell us if it is leaning and that we need to move fast.
Can we ask you?
Yeah, so
Sorry.
this was kind of brought up, because of the issue about, is the foundation's okay, whatever. And so I mentioned that when we did the survey for the loan project, we terrestrially scanned that entire area inside the fence a year ago. So we know the exact inclination of those tanks from a year ago. And so the proposal would be to have that same team come back and check it now to see if it's moving. If it's not moving, then we know that.
They didn't notice anything then?
Well, it is what it is.
Okay.
Now we have to compare that baseline to today. It's been, I think it's been at least a year since they did it.
I don't see why not wait until it's dry. So it's not gonna, if it's moving and it stops moving when it's dry, let's get those numbers. And then if we have an issue, because that was my thoughts is, yeah, it's leaning. We're gonna have to, my thoughts was let's get the new tank online. And if we have to drain that thing and do serious work to bolster that foundation. But I mean, yeah, the information's good. I don't see doing it while it's wet. I don't know if we do it now, because my instincts would be, all right, well, we did it while it was wet, but I want it done again when it's dry.
Yeah.
If it's,
I'll whip up a quote, like a formal one, so that way you got something in front of you too. From the same team that did it.
That would be nice to have the same team.
is that fair to wait till it's dry, so if it's not still moving and then we kind of aren't sure if it was still moving, so we kind of wanted to do it again?
Yeah, my main thought was to just make sure we had some money in front of us but it's good. We need a quote. That's a good first step for next meeting.
Yeah, this is discussion only anyway, because
Mhm.
So it's restated, I know Aaron knows this, but, this Midco team is coming out here to fix this, but they're saying, hey, it may only be a year or two, just to have that in the board's mind that it probably will need to be emptied and have another team come out and actually do a whole fix on it. So.
This is patchwork.
They basically said it's patchwork. That's exactly what they said.
So slow it down, isn't that?
Yeah, slow it down or actually fix it for, I actually discussion with Chuck. He said, it's been, they came out and, he used bubble gum did and then lasted a few years and then actually leaked it. So
we want it empty, tried and relined, is what we really want.
Yeah. So obviously it needs to be stopped now because it's the water, so. Okay.
And our window's closing on that too, according to what John says, because it's the pump is not having the funnest time keeping up.
That's correct.
And I'm telling you, there's 5 to 10 gallons coming out of that.
It's
So we're pumping 60 gallons a minute, and it's 5 to 10 gallons a minute coming out of that hole on the bottom. So we're losing 15-20% of our water out the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more on that? Okay, sounds good. That was discussion only. Approved plan to fill new water tank for leak checks. Okay, I think I talked about it earlier, but we do need to get this rocking and rolling. So we need to check out that pump that we've got, that 2-inch pump. We need to get get a pressure gauge set up. We need to put together a little plumbing configuration to get that water to where we can pump it, not put a suction on the line. I put it as approved plan to fill new water tank for leak checks. Think any thoughts on any of this that you want more detail on before this plan gets rolling?
Got nothing.
Is, so if the town provides the pump to Quinn, and then tells them we need to spread this out so that we can not get behind, and then also check the leaks as we go. I guess the question would be, is he floated in the idea of trying to hit us with a change order?
So the way I was kind of talking to him was that we may put together some volunteer babysitter.
You're looking at me like
Baby.
my husband's available. let me tell you about a volunteer situation that just happened last night. Last night, 2 nights ago, so what?
Water tank.
No, has nothing to do with it. It just has to do with volunteering. And that is that, I got a phone call a couple nights ago from my sister who works at the, gas station. And some woman had a flat tire and needed to borrow only the jack to fix that. She did not have one, and nobody down there, I guess, had one. And I'm telling my husband this, and he's looking at me like, I said, Lon, can you go help this woman? Can you take her that? He is not very open about volunteering anymore, is my point on that. So I don't know. If you're looking at me for volunteers to do that type of work like we did with the other, when we did the,
It wouldn't be that. It would just be filling the tank.
Let's
Go out and fill the fuel tank on the pump and let it run.
So relevant to the volunteer work that was done with the lagoons, the big thing was having enough gas, like having a pony tank that could take it through the night.
Yeah. We wouldn't be playing those games. We have pumps. We need a pony. We need a tender tank, whatever you want to call it. We need one. Should we, we've got a motion to approve. Do we need to Google a tender tank quick and see
how much it is?
Yeah.
We
Okay.
we don't have a motion to approve, yeah.
No, I mean, we have
I'm
a
not using it again, I'm sure.
agenda item.
To approve.
Yeah.
So I'm so picky, so
I think it's 9 o'clock.
But yeah, that's,
And your alarm's gonna be off.
Portable diesel tank,
goes off at 8, right now.
caddy with manual pump. Fuel tank with. Yeah. Big money though. Yeah.
Get a welder to take one. I don't know.
The balance.
There you go.
$65.
That's a 6 gallon. I think the one that's on there is probably 2 gallons. Joe. 2 gallon. And it was about every 2 hours it needed filled. So that's,
So we need one a little bigger than that.
yeah. Yeah. I'll entertain a motion for a $250 budget for a tender tank.
I'll give you that motion.
I'll second that motion.
All right. Before we, any further discussion? Nope. Seeing none. All those in favor?
Yep.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
What are we gonna do with the tank if we're going to snow machine?
Hook it to the back truck. That's what I'm gonna do one day with that snow machine. If people let me. Seriously. No, once we have a pump that has a tender tank that can run for 12 hours, we have a pump with a tender tank that can run 12 hours.
Right.
It is so useful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So that's a minor amount of money for what it does for us.
Yeah. And what it would save compared to us trying to get in to bill us.
Can we move on to D?
D.
Thank you.
Approve application to occupy right away for Custer County Fair. I'll entertain a motion to approve the application to
I'll make
occupy
that.
fair. What's made? Do
I'll
we have a
second for discussion. Why are we doing?
Yeah, what right away?
For the parade. Yeah.
The beers and
Oh, this is for the parade?
Yeah, the parade.
It is.
Yeah, beers and beers is
Yeah, so this is for them to shut, and Greg, they've already talked to DOT, they're okay with it, we just need to, they just want us to say, yeah, we're.
Okay, that's what I-
We do this every year.
Oh, the parade
For the-
after beers.
It's
Yeah.
for the fair parade.
Corn queen.
Okay, so next time you need to put for the parade on there, because alls I could think of is if they were wanting the right of way all the way around the fairgrounds for parking or whatever,
You
so
look at the.
I was a little
look at the
concerned.
Item 11D, it says parade for Custer County Fair, 8/9/2022.
Oh.
It's on the form.
Do we have a motion
Yes, and a
and
second.
a second?
Who seconded? Faith made the motion, I'm sorry,
Did
who?
you?
Trina second?
I made the motion,
made the
Faye seconded.
Okay.
Okay, any further? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right,
Very good.
sorry.
Claims, sewer tax.
Good times.
I'll make the motion to approve to get this going.
I will second.
Made, motion seconded.
What do we do with our coffee house? Did you buy something from the auction?
That's a, those are deposit refunds, utility deposit refunds. Those are people that have moved out of their homes and
Okay.
they have every part of their deposit come back. So there's quite a few of them, there's 5 of them.
Hey, Terry, when you have a moment, not now or a week from now, but check to see if I got my deposit back.
Okay.
And if I didn't, I will get it back and then I'll just donate it to that little fund you have for helping out people that need help.
Are we supposed to be doing those? You're talking about the house you're living in?
Oh, a lot of people have gotten it back. Yeah, a lot of people have gotten it back. I don't know. That's what I wanted to know.
And I said,
What are they getting it back for? Well, people that have had business, done business with us for several years have been getting back their deposits, or they were at one time.
I don't know of any, so.
Where if you just give them back when they're done, you never have to worry about it getting. Yeah.
I agree with that.
I make motion to pay their claims.
It's already, Linda already made a motion.
Motion made and
And Trina
seconded.
seconded.
Okay, well, let's.
All right, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, claims, good. Water department report, I don't see anything. We talked about water a lot tonight.
Yeah.
Are you good with that?
Do we need to discuss going on, restrictions? Excuse me, my mouth.
We couldn't take action on it right now, but
We could add it to the next agenda because we will need to discuss it. To fill that in.
Yes, we are in water department.
so we'll have that on the next meeting under new business.
Action item.
Action item.
New.
Sewer, any more on water?
Glove water.
Sorry.
Okay, so what about that permit for discharging? And what
Oh.
about the dechlorination tablets?
Yes,
We have.
so
We
we
have.
wanna,
For the people, and everything, you're gonna put that.
Yeah,
Okay, we're gonna
add
do
to
that.
stuff.
Okay.
We're good.
But,
They don't.
so the permit.
the permit,
The permit, John?
I got the permit.
Oh.
I'll get it filled out.
okay. Yeah, when I talked, he wasn't like, oh,
Yeah.
you have to do this. Yeah, he was like, oh, by the way, since you're leaking a ton of water, you should probably.
Yeah.
But dechlorination tablets, next meeting, we'll get those, so we
That's
have
the
them
one we will-
somewhere in a,
I went and peeked, as you know, it's not making it, it's soaking in the ground still as it goes
Yeah.
down, so it's not really,
it's got a lot of sun exposure.
Yeah.
It's.
it's not really making it.
Very helpful.
Oh, my goodness.
I did direct it toward a prairie dog.
In the hole.
So it's going into a prairie dog. We don't know where it's coming out.
Mhm.
It was a very chlorinated bird.
whatever.
Oh, John, I don't think you were here when I mentioned it. The water, did you make adjustments to the chlorine?
Yes, I did.
We noticed.
We
You
know.
did?
He knows.
I noticed.
Really?
It tastes better.
Okay.
Can you go further?
Yes, I can. That's what I was.
Gently, but
I grabbed this chlorine sample. When I come tomorrow, I was gonna grab another one and see what it registers and see. So I can go further with it.
still smells like a swimming pool, but doesn't taste like one.
See, I can't
That's
taste
for-
it either.
So many people who can't smell chlorine have.
No, I can smell chlorine.
Do you smell chlorine in the water?
Not in the water, not very often, but I can smell chlorine. Trust me,
I don't smell.
because I can smell it when I go to the pool. But I do have another water issue. So I'm gonna quit chewing here, sorry. So, are you done?
No.
Yeah.
Okay,
We're still water.
yes. Mindy Hallsworth has been texting me on and off for over a week now, and her water is brown and yucky. And she fills her bathtub, and I mean, you can see it, it's brown and yucky. And I don't know, she has mentioned that somebody's been over there. She's seen somebody at the what? Somewhere on the next property over where they're building.
And that line is a separate line.
Okay, I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just saying she has noticed that. She doesn't know if that's what's causing it. She has no idea, but she is having problems. It is not 24/7, or is it? No, it is not 24/7.
Occasionally.
Occasionally.
Yeah.
And when she fills the bathtub and
You
gets
can
the
see
brown
it.
water, the kitchen sink is clear. So it's weird. And even though Donna says it's a different line going into her development, their development is a dead end line that then pushes back out and comes back around.
That have to be our problem, be our fault.
Donna, please. I'm just trying to figure the situation out. Nobody's blaming you or your husband at this point. We just want to know.
Well,
Well, if
it's
it
a
was you,
separate
water, you would
line.
want to know too.
It's a separate line. Tell her to go out, turn her spigot off, on outside until it clears up and see what happens.
I mean, that's
That is what.
really
that's what
kind of,
we
you
say.
just turn it on and let it run those.
Bring you a jar of it if you want me to.
Yeah.
Driving.
Got that up, when you have that, and when it's filled up, it's.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
Look at this,
Yeah.
this iron brown, it sounds like iron.
We do have iron pipes in the ground still, right?
Yeah.
It's a whole bunch.
And that's all old town.
Yeah, that's in the old town, yeah.
That would make sense if it was iron. But the other that's with clear water.
How much would that test cost, Anthony?
To get tuberculation in the pipes still, and they're old, for iron, probably a couple of bucks. Is it that much?
Well,
Because if it had anything to do with the new work that's going on, it would have happened and then been done. But this is an ongoing thing that's probably deterioration of the line.
And it's only in the tub and not the.
Yeah.
It's not all the time,
Is it?
Not all.
Right.
not all the time. I mean, some days it doesn't do anything. But the day her back killing her, it was
it was,
junk.
yeah,
Does it
and
depend on
it's
hot
stunk, yeah.
water, cold water, heat?
She does it hot. Which is one of them continuous heaters.
You put it in the tankless.
Tankless.
Oh, okay. So it's not anything. Yeah, that was.
And the neighbor in Donna's house that's trying to sell it said he has had problems with groundwater.
When he first got there, but I think it was just, you know. I don't know, I can test it, I'll test it next week. Okay, I'll test it.
We should put it in our software as a
So
work
if
order.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're done with that then? Okay, move on.
Water.
No.
We'll see what happens when we get it tested. Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Who's testing?
I will.
They will do it personally.
Anything else on water? All right, sewer.
Well, we already talked about the lagoon, Brandon Stanton's email. And that's all I have. I didn't have any reports of issues on sewer. I didn't write up a report. Nothing new happened this last 2 weeks.
So John and I have been talking about, testing out the vector jetter around the lagoons. Specifically to kind of clean the lines, because they never really got cleaned after the contractor got done there. And from where it comes in, just to each lagoon. And that way you can also test that hose out, because we talked about that hose being old.
The jetter hole line, I wouldn't even want to bother testing it. A 2000 PSI line, I wouldn't want to bother testing it. It's old. We know it has been cut several times and had a new end put on it. It only takes once and somebody's missing their hand.
Do you guys want to quote for a new hose then?
Yeah, that's necessary. Even if we just fix the thing up, sell it. Get it running really good and then sell it. Yeah, we do need to focus on fixing it though.
Okay.
That repair, that's gonna be fun. I think I'm gonna put together a plan to fix that. Get that clutch replaced.
Yeah, they tightened up the clutch, but you don't know how long it takes before it backs off again. That's the question.
Yeah, it probably, it's a contained unit, so it's not like you're dealing with, oh, if you're gentle on the clutch, you'll keep the flywheel. It's not that kind of clutch. It's all a unit. So everything that wears gets replaced in one slug. So if you run it till trash, you run it till trash. Yeah. Yeah, you need a quote for the new line.
Just as a side note on this, because of the new state laws on CDLs, I no longer have a CDL, so I cannot move it.
Oh, and I will say that I will expect that if that truck moves, then it's because Terry has a copy of the CDL of whoever's driving it in the office and on file.
Okay.
That's gonna. I think that's low hanging fruit.
Even within the lagoon.
Within this, on the city property, you do not need that license.
Yeah, that's true.
That is, it is when you get on state or county highways that you need that. Within our town limits, we can drive on our city streets that are not county roads legally.
Nope, already confirmed with Scott that
Can't
that's not
even
correct.
bring it out
We,
and down here without being.
we had Scott do the review on that contract that I put together, which kind of was to fish out exactly this sort of information. It says highways. Highways include town roads. We can't drive it on town roads either. It can't be operated on any road where any public access is permitted without a CDL. So town roads, no. Inside the lagoon fence, maybe on Megabauer's private property with their written permission, but Fairgrounds Place, no. If there's no CDL on file with Terry, that should not be going past the gate by Fairgrounds Place.
Okay, well, that I did not know.
That we discovered when we were talking with Scott.
Even if you step clean the driveway, which is probably got an easement, that'd be something to check out. If you could step clean that line, that diagonally comes from Fairgrounds Place all the way to Lagoons, like on a regular basis. That's part of the reason we bought that truck, because Chuck kept having problems with blockages. And of course, they happen on like Labor Day, right?
Yeah.
Or
Exactly.
Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I could save our hats on dealing with the lift stations struggles, the clogging up lift stations. Could be a huge player there. If we get a good cage in there and have it set up to where we can just vac out the cage once a week rather than having to do anything more.
Is that name on Manning? Yeah. That guy's name on Manning, that's got CDL. That he's been able to move around.
And then also, Larry,
No,
potential use for it, I know the Cameron, there's a lot of gravel on the old part of town.
And-
A lot of sewer lines. So consideration to use it for that, if something for you to think about too.
But I'll quiet part out loud this. I don't think too much should be going on with that truck. It's 100% dialed in and has an inspection saying that this is the condition it's in and it's good to go. And then if it belongs to us, either we're getting stuff done at crazy cheap or we're getting paid for its use. This is, we spent money on it. We gotta either make it work or get rid of it. Anywho, yeah, I'll put together a plan to swap that clutch though, because it won't last forever. All we need is a crane. 5 hours. Anyway, sewer, is that all on sewer?
Yes.
Oh, no, you had an MAP?
Oh, MAP, that was just,
Added to the minutes.
added to the minutes last week. We talked about MAP being available to come out to train the board, but nobody's interested in doing that at this moment in time. So I'm just gonna wait till the end of summer and then I'll bring it up again.
Good, thank you.
Okay, good on sewer streets.
Well, we were looking at a grant called the Community Access Grant,
Thank you, guys.
but we missed the deadline on that. So we have to wait another year. That will cover 80% of construction costs and the grant size is 600,000. So darn that we missed out on it. But we will try to have our ducks in a row for next year on that.
It needs resolutions of commitment.
Yeah,
It's
engineer
a
involved.
little more
Yeah.
stepped. Yeah.
Street Forum, we only had 5 citizens come out and basically told us what we already kind of know, and so we'll just kind of go from there. We know we need to fill potholes, and we know the grant was probably going to be for fixing around the school zones. So that was one of the really bad spots in town.
Mhm.
Anything else, Aaron?
It's a little hot right now, and it hasn't been particularly wet, but riprap action can start up again. UPM. So I don't know. I just noticed it today or yesterday, but I don't know exactly who it would fall under, whether it would be county or if you contact the railroad. But at the tracks, there's some potholes developing in the asphalt. I don't know if that's something like we can get to the point where we talk to DOT and say, hey, we've got some UPM we're going to fill in there. And
Yeah.
just because it's just coming apart right by the tracks, or is the railroad involved in that? So we gotta find out a little bit.
It's a state highway, so contact them,
Call
Terry.
DOT and, like, deal with
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
It's starting to come apart right at the tracks.
Something to do.
It's getting a little deep. Somebody's gonna break something if it gets much deeper.
Yeah, that's
And it's not, our responsibility, but it's within our town, so we need to make sure the people who are
Yep.
responsible deal with it. Yeah.
So are you asking Terry to call the DOT or who's?
Yeah, Terry.
Yeah, I'll call him about something else, so I'll call Bruce.
You know who to
I
call.
know. You know, where-
Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else on streets?
Lawn care.
Lawn care, first mowing review. Did anybody have pictures, a write-up, a map, or anything?
We got a map.
If I put this on 11/17, then that would work.
Yes, that would help a lot.
I'll print that out. I'll be done on 11/17 then, I think, anyway.
Okay.
Big one. I'll do that. People really.
Yep. Charlie seems to be, he's very much knowing that there's gonna be some work.
That's what I was.
He didn't specifically say to me yet when he's gonna come back.
Why does he have,
I mean,
why does he have to come back?
Or in areas you haven't done.
Yeah,
fine.
To redo.
I don't know, it looks like somebody's already been mowing part of that area, part of the areas that he would have done. I
Wouldn't be
didn't,
surprised
I
if
haven't
volunteers
seen
are getting
that.
out there and poking around.
Well, those 2 spots, those 2 city lots down in our development are.
oh, they haven't been done?
No.
Okay.
There's 2 city lots? I thought there was just
It,
2.
I'd have to look at the plat, but it was actually owned by 2 separate people.
one. Oh.
So it maybe is 2, for the
That little
duplex, yeah.
corner by Bobby Koloski, the city owns. And then that behind the duplex on the corner, the city owns.
I don't know. that-
How much of that on Bobby's?
It's not a very big fund.
I,
They do more, but then they get, you know.
we'll have this map, right? Then people can mark where, yeah, I think we're good on
Well,
that.
he needs to get on some of this stuff because it's getting way tall and it's a regular mower isn't gonna do it.
All right, I'll give him a call tomorrow, ask him when he's coming back out.
That'd be a good idea. Thank you.
And then let us each know so we can add to the list. Come up.
Yeah.
Why don't we leave the map here? If you print it out, leave it here, put it on the desk, tape it down, and we can each come up and look at it and
Well,
highlight it, whatever
maybe
needs to be
make
done.
sure it's board members coming.
Well, of course.
Oh, I wonder if they maybe take care of my place. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Just kidding. Nobody would do that. Streets, lawn care, we're good there. Law enforcement.
Well, the police blotter, the Custer log we got is clear back from May, so I mean, doesn't do much good talking about that.
It doesn't, but I did do the numbers on it, and I can tell you that extra patrol was 12. Paper service was 8, welfare checks was 3, concerned citizens was 6, abandoned vehicles was 5. Let's see, school patrol was 4, animal was 1, traffic was 4, and I can't even read my own writing on this. Oh, the drunkenness was 2. Yeah, drunkenness was 2, and then there was a missed call and so that's, I mean, we're lucky. I'm just gonna say that. I think we're lucky.
And they are driving around the
Yep.
town.
Okay, any further on law enforcement? All right, abatements, complaints, I don't think we had any.
Didn't have any. I wonder if Scott got that letter sent to. Or if the sheriff gave it to Sheriff Serval later.
Oh, yeah, he didn't give us an update on that. We kinda need to know that. He was sending a letter
I
about,
believe we have a receipt that, for when I was, because I think I was gone at finance officer school in Riley. I think she got the mail.
she put it in the mail, okay?
Well, I think Scott had maybe had it. It was like $10 or something. But
Okay.
it was. And it was,
So make a note on there to ask him if he got any reply on that, or if he, I would like to know if he heard anything on it, or if anybody did.
Nice to know if he
Mhm.
had, if it was taken care of.
Yep.
Donna, do you know if the mosquitoes did get sprayed?
Well, I left mine, he never called me back or anything, so I don't know if he got them done or not. Cause I told him to go ahead and do it and then take the bill up to the town office.
Wouldn't he have had to come to Terry to get the keys to get the stuff?
Well, I
Yes.
thought the way he talked, he had some at his house.
Oh, just ready to go?
Yeah.
Well, isn't that the sprayer in the shop?
No. The tablets. He was gonna do.
Oh,
the
just doing the
tablets.
larvae tablets.
Yeah,
Okay.
the way I took it, he had some in the house.
Okay, but.
I am 90% sure he put the tablets up.
Okay.
Yeah, and I told him just to do it and.
Deb?
So what was he supposed to do? Was he supposed to put a fence up? Cause there's a fence up over there. Is somebody gonna inspect it? What he had to do? Where the complaint was on the dog?
Oh, the good news is that as of July 1st, there are certain things the town can't really force people to get permits for, and fences are very much covered now. There are very few examples where you can force people to get a permit to put in a fence. So we're gonna have to.
Change our ordinances.
Yes.
I understand, but I was just wondering on the report, did he have to put a fence all the way around?
We didn't.
Or no.
Put that fence around.
No, nothing was said about putting a fence in. It was just about the barking dogs.
Well, he
He did fence it.
Well, it did say there was something that was said because somebody said that Hot Springs place came over and said that he had to put a fence up
Oh,
to block him. Do you remember the last meeting?
yeah, I remember the last meeting, but
But we never,
That wasn't anything to do with us, so that was
nothing to do with us.
the Humane Society. told
Yeah, but it was dogs.
Yeah, you need to change it.
Well, they said that they had talked to him before
it was a long cause, so.
Yeah, all right, economic development, I, I'm not gonna, no. I heard through the grapevine, there might be some new business coming into town, but I'm gonna let them do the announcement when they're ready. Finance, this category, all right, Terry.
Okay, so the only thing I have is pull up my help, Riley. So she was done as of last Friday. She got a job on the base, which can't fault her for that. Wish her the best, but she was really good. So we do have an ad out there for a part-time position. There really isn't enough to keep two people full-time busy. So
And, have you gotten any replies on that yet?
another one. It just came out in the paper. It'll be in the paper tomorrow.
Oh, it hasn't come out yet either.
Oh, I see. I believe.
What are you doing?
Putting stuff away.
We wanna go home.
What time is it?
It's time to go home.
But
Only 9:30. This is nowhere near the Battle of the Bushes.
I know, but there's no one here to stand at this thing, so let's get it out of the way.
and then with that, Riley being, I do have a couple of appointments that I had scheduled prior to her giving me her notice. So if you notice on the door, I will be closed tomorrow for a couple hours because I got to go to a dentist appointment. Next Wednesday, I have an eye doctor appointment. So
Very
I'm
good.
gonna have to close for a couple hours here and there.
No problem.
All righty. Okay, I think that sums up the agenda. And we're only 3.5 hours in.
That all?
All right, closing comments from the public. Any, Dan?
Well, I think the meeting went pretty good tonight. I appreciate all of you. I do think it was pretty rude for Donna to insult Trina there when she was making comments about the fact finding that done. And that Trina basically is only benefiting the citizens and looking out to save us monies and legal fees and making sure she does the research. So I know there's others that don't comprehend that, or understand that, so I'm sorry to hear that tonight. I think everything else went quite nicely. And then I do appreciate the extra labor that's being put in for infrastructure and what you guys are doing. Thank you for that. But I do warn you that doing the chlorine tablets or anything else, or you do have licensed operators that need to be involved when you guys get involved in that, so that we don't have problems with PA anymore. And keep our licensed operators involved with it. So, they're great tools to have. So I thank you all.
Very good. No further comment from public? Okay. What's next? What's the input? Linda?
Yes, thank you. I was actually gonna ask Margie, and maybe Terry knows something, or maybe you all know something, if she got the flash drive from, the flash drive from Joan.
They haven't been back in to question me about the ordinance book and I.
So we don't know.
So I don't know.
And she's gone, so I can no longer ask her, so, I guess I'll hold that off until the next time, at the next meeting. And then the other thing, sir, was that, with all the discussion going on from where I sit, Kathy Pillen speaks a lot during the meeting. And she is worse than anybody else that was in that room tonight, as far as speaking to, it was Connie, is her next person next to her. But, it is disrupting. It's disrupting to my ears. It makes it so I can't hear you all as well, because I am one of the closest people to the audience. I know Donna is too. Donna normally faces this way, which makes her ears block some of that, you know what I mean? So, I mean, maybe I hear it better, or maybe my hearing is better than hers, but I would like you to take a little better control over those situations, please.
I think one thing that I've been thinking about for a while that So, and we talked about it today, get the system upgraded. I really think we need to get to the point where, a butterfly can't really beat its wings in this room without it being caught on the recordings. Every little, I think that's been an ongoing thing, the under, because, I mean, you hear, but I don't generally until days later, some of the things that are said under breath.
Yeah.
And some of it, profanities, things that make it uncomfortable for people to come to meetings. And I think, hypersensitive recording equipment, that's one, because, I mean, I can't, if I don't hear it, if we don't have it recorded. But, yeah,
Okay, and then, may I go again? The Custer County meeting is tomorrow. And, I see on the agenda, the emergency management countywide burn ban. And, also, I noted that, again, they are going through a lot of employees, and the auditor's office called me today. And there was a new person. They said, "I'm sorry, you don't know me. I'm new. The person you spoke to before has quit." And, yeah, and I mean, and that's not the only one. And so it's just a testament to the fact that we are not the only ones that have employee problems or issues within the structure of our town. And, I just think it's fair to the public to note that.
oh, yeah, as far as, well, yeah, I guess we didn't say much, but Riley had nothing but good things to say about
Yes.
working here.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
She just got a really, really good deal.
Yes,
Yeah.
very. Excellent job.
But, no,
Very happy for her.
she was happy with the experience. Definitely said it was an experience.
And she was pleasant.
Yeah,
Oh, very, yep. Mhm. Nice young woman. She'll go far. Mhm. Yes.
I'd like to be next.
Ross, you first.
Are you done?
I am done, thank you.
This kind of follows up on Linda's comment about, Kathy Pillins. I have had comments about both the Hallsworths sitting back, making gestures, making noises and everything, so it's not just one citizen.
No, it is not.
And I think everybody should be courteous. You don't need to call them names, you don't need to say the F word, you're at a meeting, let's be, an adult.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe I've been a little bit relaxed, but I don't think, we're not negotiating international trade deals here.
Thank goodness.
No.
Be able to relax to an extent. I think, sometimes if you let people say there are uncomfortable things, and you just let it be said and just listen, but then move on from it. That's in my experience is the best thing you can do is just let people say whatever they want. And it's more the reaction that's going to determine whether or not you get more of it, right? Like for me, passive aggressiveness is something that I find extremely entertaining. Sometimes I almost invite it because how entertaining I find it. But I know that can instigate, so I'm going to try to avoid that.
Thank you.
I won't poke the bear as much.
As much, okay.
They did ask me to poke the bear.
I know.
Want me to go? I would like the board to think about the fact that we only have to have minutes. I mean, motions in our minutes. So what if we just took a load off and just had motion, pass or fail, motion, pass or fail? And then, who voted what way when we need to, and no other information on the minutes. It's a thought, and I think that follows the law, and it would help, especially when we only have one person here to go make copies and things like that. So I'm throwing that out there as a suggestion.
We'd need actions or anything to make that sort of a. We probably do need some
Well,
kind of.
Robert's rules, but the only thing you really have to have is the motions, but the minutes are supposed to give you an idea of what happened at the meeting, so that's why I do try to include them. I believe you were one of the ones that wanted that at the beginning. You wanted me to like.
I wanted way
You
more.
wanted way too much, so I tried to appease you. And you really should be able to go back to the minutes and kind of get a feel for what happened. Like if you had discussion, you need to talk about what you discussed.
But it's all
mean-
in the recording and it's.
Yeah, but then to go listen to that, to find it, I mean, people aren't gonna like that.
Again, I can't help it, and I'm the one that's bitching about the meeting time. Can we just do, I've asked this before, I'm sure. Can we do what has to be published in the published and then a regular one for
You're
referral?
asking for 2 sets.
Well, I know, that doesn't help you, I know, I get that.
All right, I think,
But financially, it would help.
so technically we only have to have the bare minimum. I don't know how much we've really shared, but you can get, with the way the YouTube is set up, you can get anything you want really easily.
That's what I'm
You
saying.
can download the whole transcript of the meeting, word for word, verbatim.
And that's fun.
And it's mostly accurate.
Yeah, and it really is like very close. It's sometimes I catch it, but
Yeah.
I don't know if we're at the point where we really want to look at it, utilizing that more directly, but I think it's important for people to know that that's available. But if we can,
We could download the
if we can automate some part of the summary, then that maybe a 2 separate document situation would be realistic if that second document was on.
Yeah, because then it's not formal from the finance officer. The finance officer is just the motions and the votes. Just a thought. Think about it. We can put it on the agenda if you guys want to. And I did say I hadn't read the ordinances in 2 years, and I wanted to clarify that in the same meeting. I read the ordinances, but I haven't sat down and read it all the way through like a book, like I did 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
That's too much.
Okay. Well, I think we trimmed down the agenda, tabling things and passing things and. So hopefully next time we'll get out of here sooner. But I think feel good about tonight. So,
All righty.
thank you guys.
Yeah, I want the feedback. Feedback appreciated. I'll get a little sharper with people when things get rowdy. I do think though that we can get to the point where we really are more relaxed and have those negative contributions kind of fall away. I think we can get there. I think it's going to take time, but I think we can get there. I think we are getting there. We've got a lot going on right now. I try to focus on the technicals, and maybe too much on the technicals of what's going on, and not so much the atmosphere, the people side of the thing. But I'll focus more on that if that's what everybody wants. If everybody wants to see me doing that, a little bored. You can come to me one at a time.
You do a good meeting.
Yeah.
You do. You handle the meeting really good.
I like the relax.
But
there's a
I know. I just want to say this, and that is, we've gone back and forth depending on who's on the board and who's sitting where on whether it's going to be more professional or more relaxed. You, and you're no exception to that rule, because for a while you were wearing a suit all the time and thought it should be very professional. You have relaxed a lot.
I had to have somebody in the room that was really pushing it because of how far it had slid in the.
Okay, well, I know you have reason for it, I know, but I'm just saying, now you have done a 380 or a 160 or however you want to word that. You have done, thank you, 180. You've done that yourself now. So I'm just saying, things change, and they change more quickly than you think they should, sitting up here. And so we've went, since you've been on the board to casual to professional and now back to casual. And personally, I'm happy with casual. I just want to split that out there. But my point is that it just changes. It just does.
So, and you've made one of my points beautifully, is that tone gets set from this chair. Undeniably. I didn't have to start wearing a suit until things got legalistic. Right? We can be casual, we can be strict. And it really is this chair has too much influence over that. Too much, I really do. I think we need to figure out a way.
No. I mean, you're conducting the meeting, so it's just gonna be that way, how you conduct the meeting.
Okay, but maybe there's a way to get it to where it's not different every time. Maybe we can get it to where this is kind of how we do things, no matter who's. That's what I would like to see, to where the citizens can rely on this machine being well oiled, regardless of who's here.
That requires documentation.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
And ordinances.
Which we will got. Anyway,
Motion that we close the meeting at 9:44.
motion made. Do we have a second?
Yep.
Is that okay?
Because we don't need an executive session.
I didn't think so. Ooh.
Motion made and seconded. All those, and further discussion?
So.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I asked everybody beforehand, do we have to have it?